CBC Sports. Their offense is rolling, and so confidence is at a season high on the Toronto Argos. They have made the hour-long drive down the QEW to face the Hamilton Tiger Cats at Iverwin Stadium. The Ticats are trying to arrest a 3-game losing streak. Tonight, the Argos and Ticats renew the rivalry on the CFL on CBC. The Argos do not have fond memories of their last game in Hamilton. It's where they lost quarterback Matt Dunnigan. Their marquee player needed 5 weeks to recover from a knee injury. While Dunnigan bided his time on the sidelines, it was not smooth sailing for the Argos, who won only twice. But 2 weeks ago, Dunnigan came back to light up the scoreboard against the BC Lions. In consecutive games against the Lions, Dunnigan and the Argos have scored 117 points. Now it is smooth sailing for the good ship Argo, and for the last 2 weeks at least, they've been able to honor their preseason pledge to shoot the lights out. Across the lake in Hamilton, it's a much different story. The locals are trying to deal with the strike, and Al Bruno is trying to deal with the football team gone suddenly cold. Injuries have had a lot to do with it, and so do errant throws by Mike Kerrigan, who last week had a league record 5 picked off by Rod Hill. For the Ticats to break out of a 3-game slump, Kerrigan will have to get hot again, and being hot means combining with Tony Champion, the Ticats' game-breaking threat. There are 74 regular season games in the CFL, and any one between the Argos and Ticats is always special. Welcome to Hamilton. These are hard times in this hard-working city. It's been gripped by a steel workers' strike, and yesterday some auto workers joined them. The plants are not producing, and in what might seem like a show of sympathy, neither is the Hamilton Tiger Cat offense. It's a problem the Ticats had best rectify tonight because they may need a lot of points to beat the Argos. Let's hear from the men who'll have the accounts of tonight's game, Don Whitman and Ron Lancaster.
Thanks, Scott. Hi, everybody. If the Hamilton Tiger Cats, Ron, are going to put an end to their 3-game losing streak, Mike Kerrigan will have to rebound from the form of last week in Winnipeg, where he threw 5 interceptions.
Oh, Mike is the key to the Hamilton offense, and he needs to get playing with confidence, which means tonight he's got to be patient. Drop the ball off to the backs, throw it to the open receiver, make first downs, quit worrying about big plays. If you start forcing the ball, you're going to have the same results as last week, and that can't win for Hamilton.
In the Argo camp, the return of Matt Dunnigan has the team thinking of a first-place finish.
Well, this is a guy they've been looking to be their leader. Now, Dunnigan's a little different than Kerrigan. If he's not throwing the ball well, he can run. He's that type of a competitor. But when he's throwing the football, now with his running and throwing, he's dynamite, and that's what they need.
With the Winnipeg loss last night to Calgary, a victory tonight for the Toronto Argonauts would move them within 2 points of first place in the Eastern Division. Scott?
Don, there's a man in Vancouver who's been charged with the responsibility of restoring order out of chaos. He is the Lions' new head coach and director of football operations, and Bob Obilovich will join us from Vancouver on Live at the Half. And we'll switch our focus from football to 10 other events at once when world-class decathlete Michael Smith joins us at Iverwin. You're watching the CFL on CBC.
On CBC, brought to you by Molson Canadian, what beer's all about. By Priority Courier, the official courier of the CFL. And by Diet 7-Up, challenge your taste.
That nothing can touch your
on CBC, brought to you by Molson Canadian, what beers.
Welcome back to Iverwin Stadium in Hamilton. It's a cool, windy Saturday night, and rain is in the forecast. Referee Jake Ireland and the other members of the officiating staff move into position to get this game underway. Paul Osbaldiston is preparing to kick off to Daryl Smith and Mike Clemens. There's the signal from referee Jake Ireland, and this matchup between 2 old rivals is underway. Daryl Smith starts out from the 15-yard line. And Smith is downed at the 35. And that's where the Toronto Argonauts, under the direction of Matt Dunnigan, will scrimmage 1st and 10.
Matt Dunnigan comes into this game. In the 2 games with the BC Lions, he had an interception on the first pass that he threw in the first BC game. And in reality, they've gone 2 complete games without a turnover. That is a key for Matt Dunnigan, because early in the year, he was throwing interceptions like Kerrigan, but he has worked himself out of it. And now just see if he can keep riding it.
Dunnigan can relate to what what Kerrigan experienced last week in Winnipeg. Earlier in the year, Dunnigan had 7 passes intercepted by the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Mix-up in the backfield, a collision. Clemens takes the ball, but he collided with quarterback Dunnigan as they were attempting to exchange the football.
Well, a lot of times that's an underneath handoff, and I don't know exactly what play it was, but I know this much: they didn't draw it up that way. Mike Clemens is a runner, but he's also a passing receiver. What they do is put 3 receivers to one side and work him coming out of the backfield. If they shift to Clemens, he's got Smith and Boyd. Boyd had his best game, catching 8 last time against these guys.
And this is Andrew Murray. That should be a 1st down up to the 45-yard line. It appeared as though he was beyond the 45 and then driven back by Bobby Dawson.
See, that play, they sent Clemens out to the 3 receiver side, puts 4 receivers to flood an area. They get to the open receiver. Grover Covington's back leader with 6 sacks. Lance Shields coming off an injury to the corner. And then Jim Rockford in the middle is always a key, because he's got to go to the football. And I look for the Argonauts to try to work on Rockford a little bit tonight, because he reads so fast.
The measurement reveals a Toronto 1st down on the pass from Dunnigan to Andrew Murray. After missing 3 games, Grover Covington back in the lineup tonight, the CFL's all-time sack leader with 154. The number 2 ranked quarterback sacker in the CFL is wearing the blue and white of the Toronto Argonauts, James Quick Parker. This is Mike Clemens. Clemens battles his way to the 50-yard line and then is driven back by middle linebacker Darrell Patterson.
That's Toronto's best running play. That's that counter. They tried to run it early. They had the collision. Normally, they will run that play into the short side, but if you take a look, they're running to the wide side of the field with it, which is unusual. You see the guy pulling number 67, Chris Schultz. That's where Clemens wants to run. Get behind Schultz. He's the best blocker you have, and at his size, Clemens can follow him anywhere.
A gain of 4 for Clemens. It's 2nd and 6 Toronto. The ball just shy of the 49-yard line. Dunnigan is being chased by Andrews, gets the pass away to Kevin Smelly. But Smelly won't get the 1st down. Frank Robinson from his linebacking position came over to make sure that Smelly did not gain 1st down yardage. Dunnigan was under a lot of pressure from Romel Andrews.
That was the whole key to this play. It's a screen pass. You want to come back 5 steps, stop. Now give some ground, but you shouldn't get this much pressure that fast. He wants to drop that screen off to Smelly. They have it set, but he had to throw before he was ready, and Romel Andrews is about 270 pounds now, so you don't want him too close to your quarterback too often.
Glenn Harper stands back at his own 37-yard line for this 3rd down punt. He's been averaging 41 yards per kick this season. A low bouncing kick that Winfield watches roll to the sidelines and out of bounds back at the 20-yard line.
Glenn Harper spotted a touch at the 20.
Well, the Hamilton Tiger Cats get not bad field position anytime you're away from the shadow. This is where Mike Kerrigan now has got to assert himself. I know Kerrigan's a good quarterback. You think back to last year, he's one of the best in the league. He's going through tough times, but he's got to work himself out. No one else can help him. It's all on his shoulders.
5 interceptions registered against Kerrigan last week against Winnipeg, but according to the coaching staff, only 2 of them were directly his fault.
Well, you're always going to have that, but the quarterback has to take the blame.
This is what they want him to do, try and use that short passing game rather than try and go deep all the time, and he dumped it off to Derek McAdoo, but he was wrapped up immediately by Darrell Ford, but that does produce a gain of 4 yards.
See, he wants to get the ball downfield to Champion and Winfield. Now, everybody in the country knows that. So what he's going to have to do is dump that ball underneath to Derek McAdoo. In the last game they played, McAdoo caught 9 passes. He's got to utilize those inside receivers a little bit to take the pressure off Winfield and Champion.
He has to show some patience. He goes to Winfield for a 1st down.
That's perfect. In the other games, the last 2 games, he has gone to Champion all the time. Now, you can't just worry about Champion when you got Winfield on the other side. You get Reggie Pleasant one-on-one with Winfield and Champion, he can beat him. Ed Berry, same thing. It's a heck of a matchup for Pleasant and Berry to try to shut down those two. Robert Smith is 6'7", 270 pounds, is supposed to be a good pass rusher. They'll need that from him.
Penalty flag as McAdoo dances his way out to the 39-yard line before being driven back. Al Bruno said the key for Kerrigan in this ball game would be to be patient. He said he has talked to him a number of times to utilize his short passing game instead of trying to go for the home run strike to either Champion or Winfield.
Charter number 90. First down repeated.
Well, Don, I just think back to last week's game that we did out in Winnipeg. I thought Tom Burgess that particular day was as patient as I've ever seen Tom Burgess. He took what the defense gave him. That's what Mike Kerrigan has to do tonight. Don't force the ball. As soon as you start forcing it, you're asking for trouble.
6'7", 270-pound Robert Smith was offside on that last play, so it's 1st and 5 for the Ticats, and McAdoo should have a first down. He's hauled down by Darryl Four.
See, nobody worries about the Hamilton Tiger Cat running game. They come into the game tonight with only averaging 70 yards per game on the ground. Derek McAdoo, as good a back as he is only averaging 3.8 yards a carry. That's not good enough. You have to threaten that 100-yard mark in order to have any type of running game, and that means McAdoo has to get some work.
When these teams met on the 28th of July, the Argos won 41-28. But they gave away 21 points, the Ticats did, to the direct result of turnovers, an interception by Chris Gaines, and a fumble recovery by Don Moon, and Don Wilson took an interception to the 1-yard line. You simply cannot afford to give up 3 touchdowns to a team that can be as explosive as Don Matthews' Toronto Argonauts.
And that 21 points counts against your defense, and really it's your offense that's giving it to them. So this is why it's a team game. Everybody has to play together.
2nd and 10, the ball just shy of the 45-yard line. Kerrigan is under pressure. He'll be dropped back at the 35. Harold Hallman was coming up the middle. He's been shifted to that nose tackle position, and he seems to be more effective there.
Well, the big thing is they have to double team him, but watch for number 38, Gaines, and 21 Ford. Chris Gaines comes free when Kerrigan steps out of his way. Hallman's there to make the hit. When you blitz, you can't double anybody. Everybody's got to pick a guy up and block him, and that time they didn't do it.
One man back. Mike Clemens awaiting the 3rd down punt by Paul Osbaldiston. Pressure up the middle. It's blocked by Pleasant. Jerry Eiffel trying to pick it up. It's still loose over there, and it bounces into the end zone and is knocked out of bounds by Chris Munford.
I think they're going to put the ball on the 2-yard line. Jake Ireland says it went out of bounds there. So the Argonauts are going to get a break. They're going to get the ball on the 2 with a chance to score a touchdown.
Jerry Eiffel was trying to pick it up after it had been blocked by Reggie Pleasant, and a big turnover will give the Argos the ball at the 2 when we return.
Marketing campaign.
It will be 1st and 10 for the Argos at the 2 of the Hamilton Ticats. Reggie Pleasant came through untouched to block that Paul Osbaldiston punt. Matt Dunnigan trying to sneak into the end zone, but he's pushed back by middle linebacker Darrell Patterson.
We saw this formation last time. No backs in the backfield. The only guy who can run the ball is quarterback, and they're going to try to take that away from him. Watch the right side of your screen. Reggie Pleasant is unblocked. I mean, he almost knocked the kicker down. He was in there so fast. You're going to get him blocked every time. Watch him again. Boy, that's unbelievable. You should never get in there that fast. Somebody missed a blocker, no doubt about that.
2nd and goal. Dunnigan again. This time he makes it.
You're not going to keep Dunnigan out of the end zone. You just can't knock from a yard out. He's just that type of guy. He gets down low behind his shoulder pads, and he's going to the ground. He'll get in most times.
The last time they met on July the 28th is the game in which Dunnigan was hurt. And with Dunnigan out of the lineup, the Argos had their problems, but they have exploded for 117 points since his return in 2 games. Lance Chomick with the point after. And with each point registered by Lance Chomick, he moves closer to becoming the Argos' all-time career scoring leader.
Right behind Chris Schultz, Dan Ferrone just gets in behind those big linemen. And when Schultz and Ferrand, watch them, 69 and 67 come off the line. When you get Chris Schultz 67 in the end zone, there's no way you're going to keep Dunnigan out of it, because he's just going to follow him in and fall down, and that's what he does. That's good line job, good job up front.
Well, the Argos are 5-5 on the season. This is only the 5th start for Matt Dunnigan. The prediction at the start of the season that they would be an explosive offense was predicated on Dunnigan playing the majority of the games.
Well, I think if you think back a while ago, even to the offseason, a lot of people thought Matt Dunnigan is the best quarterback in the league. Now, he may not be the best passer. He may not be the best runner. But they say as a winner and as a competitor and as a leader, he's the best. And if you got him on your side, you want him playing all the time and you have a chance.
McAdoo on the kickoff return. The last time they were here, the Argos had problems controlling Wally Zatilny. Zatilny is hurt. They had problems here trying to contain Derek McAdoo on the kickoff return.
This time the hole opens right in the middle. No one's touched him yet, and he's got speed and power. Just that right there, that little shove, knocks him off balance, and then he trips and falls. But otherwise, that's a big return, and good job for Kerrigan to go to work.
Winfield at the 40-yard line, a pickup of 4 yards. It will be 2nd and 6.
You know, yesterday, Don, in our meeting with Coach Matthews, when we were asked if he had any special plans for Champion and Winfield, he showed a lot of confidence in Ed Berry and Reggie Pleasant. He says, no, when we're man-to-man, we can match up with them and we'll play with them. And I'll tell you what, that's a heck of a challenge. But if Berry and Pleasant meet it, Coach Matthews will be real pleased.
He said there was no need to double-team either receiver. Tony Champion was the man Kerrigan was looking for, and Ed Berry was all over him.
Had him boxed in on the sidelines just perfectly. Berry he turned those hips, and then Champion has nowhere to run. He's on the sideline. He has no chance to get that ball. That's good defense.
Matthews with a coaching record in the Canadian Football League, 65, 31, and 1, including his 5-5 mark as the Argos head coach in his rookie season in Toronto. Paul Osbaldiston will be attempting a field goal on 3rd down from 47 yards out. It's good. So with 7:33 remaining in the opening quarter, it's now a 7-3 ball game, Toronto leading. Steve Goldman and the Ottawa Rough Riders are in Regina tonight, ready for their game tomorrow against the Saskatchewan Rough Riders. And I'm sure they'll be keeping close tabs on this game, because if Hamilton loses, they will be able to take over sole possession of 3rd place in the East with a victory tomorrow over Saskatchewan. 1st and 10, Toronto from the 35-yard line. Again, a mix-up in that backfield, but Dunnigan gets the pass away to Clements. That time, he collided with Kevin Smelly. This is the way things shape up in the East. Winnipeg now at 7-4. The Argos with an opportunity to move within 2 points of 1st place. And in the West, the Edmonton Eskimos had a scare on Thursday night, but they came through in the 4th quarter for a victory over the BC Lions. They have the best record in the CFL at 8-3. The screen pass to Darrell Smith, and Smith is forced out of bounds.
Pass complete to Darrell
He'll
Smith.
be short of a 1st down.
He's touch by Gary Wilkerson.
That screen outside, 3 receivers. When they throw it to Darrell Smith like that, and they got good support, up came the Hamilton Tiger Cats. The only problem, Wilkerson got caught inside and allowed Smith to escape outside. You have no help outside. All your friends are inside. Don't let him outside with the football.
3 receivers wide to the right. There's the screen again to Smith. He won't get the 1st down. Punishing hit by Frank Robinson.
That was a great hit by Stefan Jordan and Frank Robinson on that screen inside. That's what they put Jordan back inside for. He's a hitter. They want him inside where he can make people pay for catching a football. And when the linebacker comes from the inside and the defensive back from the outside, you can hurt a ball carrier.
Lance Shields returns to the corner. Stefan Jordan played there last week against Winnipeg. He has moved inside. And Sonny Gordon is out of the lineup.
Don't go off! Don't go off! Safe, watch Harold Smith. Safe. Hey, safe! Watch Smitty!
Third and about 1.5 yards. Glenn Harper stands back at the 40-yard line. Earl Winfield is the lone man back for this third down kick. Pressure coming up the middle. Harper managed to get a pretty good kick away. Winfield waits for it at the 10. Van Bellingham was the first man downfield to make contact, and there's not much of a return for Winfield. Scott?
Well, Don, Hamilton Tiger Cat, Canadian speedster, Wally Zatilny, a month out of the lineup now with a torn hamstring. What's the status?
Well, I saw the doctor on Friday, Dr. Levy, and he said that it looks good. We're going to be able to run on Monday, start doing some stretching, and it's just a matter of getting it strengthening out now.
You know, your brother Steve plays for the Bombers, and he says you're faking
does
it.
He?
Yeah, does he? He does.
Who's that?
He says you're faking it, Wally.
Well, that's Steve for you, though. Actually, he got a little banged up, but I think he'll be all right.
All right, thank you, Wally.
Right.
Get back soon.
I will, thanks.
Don?
1st and 10 from the 14. The fake and the handoff to McAdoo. McAdoo is tackled at the 19-yard line by Darryl Ford.
Darryl Ford makes the
I
tackle.
tell you have to be impressed with the play of Darryl Ford. You know, he comes in here as a rookie. It seems like every game he's played for the Argonauts, he's got a little bit better. Chris Gaines is another one. At the beginning of the season, he didn't even start. But now he is one of the leading tacklers in the league. So with Ford, him, and Moan, they got a pretty good set of linebackers.
And the Argos coming into this game really didn't appear to be overly concerned about the Hamilton running game.
Well, I don't think anybody can when you only average 70 yards a game.
They rely on the pass, and when you complete them to Earl Winfield, such as Kerrigan did there, it should bring a smile to Al Bruno's face.
Well, they're getting what we call more or less single coverage, where Reggie Pleasant is back off of that wide receiver on the short side of the field. I look for the Argonauts to change it and roll that corner up, and that'll take that pass away, but then it'll open something else. But it's how fast can the quarterback adjust?
Reggie Pleasant and Ed Berry will be under pressure from the two wideouts, Earl Winfield and Tony Champion. 1st and 10, Hamilton. Sam Laux couldn't haul it in. He was being covered by Don Wilson. Laux coming out of that backfield. He had a couple of blockers out in front of him had he been able to squeeze that throw.
I'm trying to see what happened. He got two receivers in the same place, but Laux has got to catch the football. That's a good throw. Got his fingertips on it, tried to pull it in and couldn't squeeze it. Got to make those catches. It keeps out his 2nd and long. Last time they were 2nd and long, Toronto blitzed him and sacked him.
Well, the Argos come with pressure here on 2nd and 10.
No,
just rushing 4. Incomplete over on the sidelines. Lee Knight, the slot back, was the intended receiver, and the Ticats will be forced again to send out the punting unit.
What they do is they send the slot back Lee Knight to the sideline, bring the receiver, in that case Winfield, in. Hopefully they want that halfback to follow him, and they turn him up and throw to him, but Don Moan ran with him step for step.
Lee Knight and Richard Nurse are playing the slot back positions tonight. The Ticats without the CFL's all-time leading pass receiver, Rocky DiPietro, and it doesn't look as though he'll be back this year. Flag on the play as that third down kick bounces out of bounds directly in front of the Hamilton bench. 4:13 remains in the quarter. We'll be back to sort out the penalty after this message.
Mr. Sweeney, we're going to bring it home tonight.
Next to Robert Mims of Winnipeg, Derek McAdoo of the Ticats has been the 2nd busiest running back in the CFL, but not nearly as productive as Mims. He is averaging only 3.8 yards per carry.
That's the key. A back in this league has to be above 4.5 yards a carry. 3.8 is too low.
That penalty flag was an offside call against Toronto. As a result, Hamilton kicks again. Mike Clemens takes it back at the 25-yard line. He's still alive over on the sidelines and gets out to about the 43. It appeared as though the Ticats were going to be able to capitalize on that offside call. It looked as though they had Clemens pinned in, but somehow he squirmed away and got it back to about the same spot where the previous kick had gone out of bounds.
That was a great return by Mike Clemens. I mean, no way should he have gained that amount of yards. That reminds me a lot of that return a few nights ago that the Gizmo had against Calgary. I mean, that was a great return because, I mean, he went into traffic, bounced around like Clemens did there. That's hard work.
The Argos send 3 receivers wide left. Kerrigan throws downfield for Masadi. He overthrew him. Masadi was being covered by Bobby Dawson.
Had good coverage on him, and again, what we noticed again, Don, the defensive ends for Hamilton are getting way upfield. Watch him get way up. Make him stay in that pocket. Okay, now he steps up. Now Covington can come and hit him after, you know, that long. Good pass rush. Keep Dunnigan contained, or he can hurt you.
2nd and 10. Dunnigan rolls to his left. He'll run, but won't get the first down. They'll spot the ball about 2 yards shy of a first down.
Well, you come with a halfback blitz. Stephon Jordan coming from behind him. Got tremendous speed. Giftopoulos can't get him, but Dunnigan hesitates, and that's all it takes for Stephon Jordan to come from behind and jump on his back. Come all the way across the field to make that tackle.
.306 is the time remaining in this opening quarter. 7-3. The Argos lead the Ticats. Winfield is back for this kick, standing at his own 12-yard line. High kick, but short. It will go out of bounds in the vicinity of the 37-yard line.
Wind's pretty strong up there. That punt took off like it was going to go a long way, but it just got up there and hung. I mean, it was pretty. It's just hanging up there.
That will affect Glenn Harper's punting average. It only traveled 22 yards. The wind appears to have shifted slightly and has increased in velocity since the start of the game.
It's a little feeling of fall in the air down here today, don't we?
More than a little feeling of fall. First and 10, Hamilton from the 37-yard line. McAdoo takes the handoff, finds a bit of an opening, then it's very quickly closed.
McAdoo, the ball carrier.
The middle linebacker, Chris Gaines, came over to hit McAdoo up high and stop him from going any further than the 42.
McAdoo's job, run the daylight. As soon as he sees the whole turn up field, but watch 38. He just kind of reaches out. Well, that brings you to a stop in a hurry.
He can sustain a whiplash that way.
Well, I guess.
And Mike Kerrigan, under the pressure of Harold Hallman and Robert Smith, goes down back at the 37, and the Hamilton Ticats are forced to send out the punting unit.
You know, they talked about Kerrigan's interceptions last week. A couple broken patterns, but you cannot throw when you're running for your life. You've got to have time to throw the football, and Kerrigan's got a lot more pressure this year than he did last. The teams are lining up. They know what they have to do, get in his face.
Try and take him out of his rhythm. Paul Osbaldiston's third down kick. It bounces away from Clemens. It's always a danger on artificial turf to let that ball bounce. But Clemens picks it up. He caught the Ticats napping, and he's gone. Harold Hallman running downfield almost as fast as Mike Clemens.
I'll tell you, the Toronto Argonauts did a tremendous job. You know, when that ball bounces, I was just getting ready to say they're going to lose yardage. They all rushed right back to the football. When we get this on a replay, look at the number of white jerseys around the ball on the ground, and then all of a sudden Clemens comes scooting out of there. Watch them all to the right. Watch all the white jerseys. Look at him. It's like a wall. He's out of there clean, and he's got Wilson standing down here waiting to help him.
Gary Wilkerson appeared to be the contained man and may have gone right past Mike Clemens when that ball bounced, because he was caught inside the 5-yard area.
He did, and it was. I just think it's a heck of a job by the Argonauts, and Wilkerson did what he has to do. Don't get caught in that 5-yard zone. But a tremendous job by the special teams, the punt return team of the Argonauts.
And Lance Chomick adds the point after for a 14-3 Toronto lead, with now just a minute 12 remaining in the opening quarter. On July 28th, the Argos beat Hamilton 41-29. When they played in Calgary on August the 9th, they lost to the Stampeders 42-17. In those two games, they had problems on special teams. Coach Don Matthews feels that since that game in Calgary, they have corrected any of the flaws they had, either offensively or defensively, on special teams.
Well, you know, every coach says that how important special teams are, and right now we see Toronto with a 14-3 lead, and one's a block punt and one's a kick return. Now that's special teams, even though the points count against your defense. That's special teams, and that's special teams at its best.
McAdoo will try and return it, looking for some blocking help, but he can't escape Dave Van Bellingham.
Almost looked like he hit a wet spot on that field. His feet started to fly, and Van Bellingham was the one that made him try to cut back in a hurry.
Well, there are some wet spots in the artificial turf here at Ivor Wynne Stadium as the result of rain over the past couple of days.
That's what he did last time. Start to his left, find a hole. Now watch when he tries to cut right there. Like he was on ice. I know we've had fall, but it's not that cold.
That isn't quite that cold. 1st and 10 from the 35-yard line. 53 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Handoff to McAdoo. Darryl Ford with help from Rodney Harding.
McAdoo, the ball carrier.
Stop McAdoo right at the line of scrimmage.
Sorry, Don. Rodney Harding made the play on the line of scrimmage. He forced him to hold up and have that stutter step, and then 21. Watch Darryl Ford. All right, you see 77 to the right. Okay, he's playing the zone. Now when McAdoo, right here, he stutter steps, Harding hits him, but look at Darryl Ford's strength. He just picks him up and carries him back.
Coach Don Matthews spoke in glowing terms about the improved play of Darryl Ford since the start of the season. Tony Champion can't catch up with the Kerrigan throw. He was running with Ed Barry, and maybe you had him beat by about a stride, but the throw was just a little too far for Tony Champion.
If the ball's thrown, like there's nothing wrong with the throw, all it was like you say, a step too far. But if it's down inside, Champion can catch it. He had the heat, he had to throw it. It's just a touch too far, right off. He got one hand on it, couldn't get the second one.
14 seconds remaining in the opening quarter. This should be the final play of the first 15 minutes here at Ivor Wynne Stadium, with the Argos in front by a score of 14-3. Darryl Smith lets this one bounce. Will he have the same success as Clemens? No. Mark Waterman made sure of that. And that's the final play of the opening quarter. Toronto in front by 11. Scored 2 first-quarter touchdowns. Special teams responsible for both. A block punt by Reggie Pleasant set up a Matt Dunnigan dive from the 2-yard line, and Mike Clemens had a punt return for a touchdown. 14-3 is the score in favor of the Toronto Argonauts, starting the second quarter with the Argos 1st and 10 at their own 12-yard line. Ramel Andrews tried to get through to Dunnigan. He couldn't reach him, and Murray couldn't catch the pass that Dunnigan threw his way.
Just dropped the football, and you know, no excuse for it. The ball hit him and he dropped it. It wouldn't have counted anyway. They got called for holding. So
statistically, just 7 rushing yards for the Argos, 16 for the Ticats. Not much difference in passing yardage, but the difference, as we mentioned, those 2 plays on special teams.
Well, you know, we talked about it before, but you talk special teams and you can get a touchdown on one and the ball on the 2-yard line on the other. You're getting a heck of a job from those guys.
Second and 10 Toronto from the 12-yard line. The Argos feel that they can throw the football against Hamilton, but Dunnigan has to get time. Mark Napier-Kowski made contact with Dunnigan for a loss back to the 4-yard line. He managed to get up and get away, but the whistle had gone.
Well, Napier-Kowski doesn't get a whole lot of headlines here in Hamilton, but talking to the coaches yesterday, they say he has really played well since that injury of Tim Lorenz. And right there, you saw him get his first sack. He has every right to be happy. That's his first one of the year.
The University of British Columbia product, 6'4", 270-pound Mark Napier-Kowski, sacking Matt Dunnigan. And now Glenn Harper stands back in the end zone for this third down kick. The Ticats should start their first offensive series of the quarter in excellent field position. Earl Winfield trying to outrun Dave Van Bellingham, and Van Bellingham stays with him, and Winfield actually loses yardage on that kick return.
Anytime you try to go wide, that time they had a block run, so they had no blockers for him back here. He had no protection. He was going to try to outrun that defense. Anytime you try that, they'll just keep another white shirt show up to where you'll lose yardage, and that's what Winfield did.
A 45-yard kick, and under the pressure of Dave Van Bellingham, Winfield lost an additional 6 yards. First and 10, the ball just shy of the midfield stripe. Kerrigan swings it out to McAdoo. Don Moen was waiting for him. He takes him out of bounds, and that draws a penalty flag. It will probably be a rough play call against the Argos.
I think it's going to go against Chris Gaines, the middle linebacker. As he was going down, Gaines went over the top, and even though he didn't hit him, the play was about 3 yards out of bounds. You really didn't need to.
Unnecessary roughness. Trotter number 38. First down.
Argos are called for rough play.
So we'll get a look at it right here. We're going to see the hit. Okay, there's the hit. Now, you see number 38, Gaines, is coming. McAdoo goes out of bounds. Well, I guess he did hit him. Yeah, he did him. I thought he missed him, but he hit him. So either way, it's a penalty.
First and 10, McAdoo, and he is hit immediately by Hallman. The ball comes loose, and I think McAdoo is able to get it back. Hallman has played a strong opening quarter. There's a penalty flag on the play.
Penalty marker.
Hallman basically has played every defensive line position this year, but seems to be most comfortable at nose tackle.
And that's a surprise, because most people don't like that nose position. You get double teamed a lot.
Conduct. Hamilton number 1. Second down.
The objectionable conduct call is against Earl Winfield.
When you get a guy like you're talking about Hallman again, Don, when he's on that nose with his quickness, when you try to run the football, you better cut him off, or he's going to get down the line as he did there and make the hits. That was a good hit on McAdoo.
Hallman was the 1986 Shenley Award winner as Rookie of the Year in the Canadian Football League. In Calgary that rookie season, he had 19 quarterback sacks. Second and 20. Ball is at the 48 of the Argos. The Argos lead 14-3. Kerrigan going deep for Winfield. Incomplete. Ed Berry was there with him. Well, so far we've seen Pleasant and Berry do their job, and the two speedy wide receivers of the Ticats.
That time the Argonauts lined up and showed blitz. They had all 12 men on the line of scrimmage. Kerrigan goes to an audible to try to go deep, and immediately Berry just turned and ran, almost like he knew what was coming, and he did a great job of covering.
Penalty on the play, a holding call against the Ticats, declined by the Argos on that incomplete pass on second down. Clemens is back for the third down punt by Paul Osbaldiston. This one bounces again to Clemens. Clemens waits for some blocking help, but this time he does get away. Paul Osbaldiston, the lone man, back, and then he's caught from behind by Carl Parker. Clemens came close to breaking a second punt for a touchdown. First quarter punt return for a touchdown on a kick that bounced. It appeared this time as though he was surrounded by Ticats.
Well, he is right there. There's about 5 black jerseys and not many white ones, but through his ability, you know, we talk about the gizmo in Edmonton. Mike Clemens is the all-purpose yardage leader in the CFL, and now I see why. I mean, those are 2 great returns that he's had tonight. Plus, he's a good pass receiver and runner, so he's having a good year.
57-yard run back as Dunnigan drops back, setting up the screen to Smelly. Frank Robinson came through to break that up right at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, when a team plays a zone defense and those linebackers drop, a screen pass is a good call, but you have to knock those linebackers down. Frank Robinson fought off the block, and he stopped it for a half-yard gain. That's about as well as you can play it.
The Argos indicated they would like to try a little play action in their passing attack against the Ticats because of their apparent preference for zone coverage.
Now you try to get those linebackers on play action to hold and not get as deep, then throw behind them.
This one is going deep for Jeff Boyd, knocked away by Lance Shields.
Lance Shields is a good corner. They've missed him because when you take a good one-on-one pass cover out of a lineup, it causes shuffles in your secondary. And Stefan Jordan went out there and he did it okay, but he's not a Lance Shields. Now you see when you cover Jeff Boyd, who's been an outstanding receiver and still is, he did a good job covering the ball in the air. In fact, he's in a better position to catch it than Boyd at the end right here. Look at him. He's inside of him. Just couldn't hold on. Boyd played defensive back, which is a sign of a good receiver.
Lance Chomick attempting a 52-yard field goal. It's going to fall short. It will bounce into the end zone to Jim Rockford. He concedes a single point with 10:49 remaining in the half. And it's 15-3, Toronto leading Hamilton. Scott?
Well, Don and Ron, I'm thinking of renegotiating my contract, and I want you to meet my new agent. He's Clyde. He's a 3.5-month-old Siberian tiger cub. He was bred in captivity and will be the Hamilton Ticats' permanent mascot for as long as he happens to live, I guess. He's pretty tame guy, as you can see right now. And you can see in the end zone, whoa, he's growling, and he's frightening me, this guy. He just let go a hoot. Anyway, before the game, somebody said to Ticat owner David Braley, why don't you let him loose in the Argo dressing room? And he briefly thought about it, but then dismissed the idea as not being a very good one. Oh, this is getting scary. Back to you guys.
Scott, if you do use him as an agent to renegotiate your contract, the rest of your career will be spent in the cage.
What did he say?
Again, right here, we see another excellent job by number 2, Reggie Pleasant. I mean, he can't cover that bootleg pattern any better.
But there is a penalty flag, and the yardage is marked off against the Toronto Argonauts, and that will take the ball to the Toronto 50-yard line.
Shot number 36.
First step against the Argos.
Don Moan is the man fingered for roughing quarterback Mike Kerrigan. He's the Iron Man of the Toronto Argonauts. This is his 147th consecutive game. Derek McAdoo taking the pitch, trying to get outside, still on his feet. He took a couple of pretty good hits, but managed to maintain his balance and pick up about 7 yards. James Parker and Robert Smith were the two who brought him down.
That's exactly what he did. But when you make the hit, you got to wrap the arms to tackle a guy like McAdoo. He's, as you mentioned, good balance. He just bounced away from Reggie Pleasant and Carl Brazeley, and away he went.
15-3, the Argos lead. Both of their touchdowns coming in the opening quarter. Kerrigan tried to dump it off over the middle. It was deflected and into the arms of McAdoo, and he gets a first down out of it.
That's the new play they worked on it this week. Throw it, bat it, and land in McAdoo's hand. He might have been fortunate he ran that play-action pass. A big left hand up, play volleyball with it. Let's watch him. Harold Holman, number 70, along with Rodney Harding. Here comes the ball. Rodney Harding and Holman hit it, and it goes right back to McAdoo. That's pretty alert by McAdoo.
First and 10 from the 36-yard line. Kerrigan lost the exchange from center. That looked like a draw play, but I don't think that's what it was designed as.
No, I'll guarantee you for Mike Kerrigan, they don't have a quarterback draw in. Mike's not a runner. And they happen to catch the Argonauts in a middle linebacker blitz, which means Chris Gaines isn't in the middle where he normally is, and Kerrigan just kind of walks through there.
Last week in the game between the Ticats and the Blue Bombers, Kerrigan twice had difficulty with the exchange from center.
That one, he either dropped it, but he certainly didn't have it in his hands.
McAdoo carries this time, and he's hit initially by Don Moan. That will be close to a first down, depending upon where they spot the football. 8:20 is the time remaining in the half. 15-3, the Argos lead the Ticats. This will require a measurement. I mentioned at the start of the telecast, this is a long rivalry. It dates back to 1873.
That's even before Art Darch was in the league.
Not much.
Not much?
Art Darch, our spotter on our Eastern CFL telecasts, and a former member of both the Hamilton Ticats and the Toronto Argonauts.
I always ask him who's going to win these games. He won't tell me. He's a member of both alumni groups.
The measurement reveals that it is a 3rd down on the short yardage play. Look for Kerrigan to keep. He gets the 1st down. Chris Munford from his safety position tried to come right up over the middle along with Bruce Elliott.
Yeah, it's a little bit surprising. Chris Munford, I don't know how long he's been on the roster, but he wasn't listed as the starting safety tonight. Van Bellingham was, but Munford has started, and he's from Simon Fraser. He was in the Hamilton camp last year, was on their roster. This year he's with the Argonauts as a safety man. He's not quite big enough to be a defensive lineman, but he's a hitter back there.
McAdoo cuts inside. Robert Smith made the tackle, but not before McAdoo got 9 yards, maybe even 10. Let's see where they spot it. 7:20 is the time remaining in the half. 15-3, Toronto leads.
There has to be one surprise so far in the ball game. The Ticats are running the football, and they're having some success. Look at the cutback by McAdoo. And again, he's into that secondary and getting 8 yards. They're not throwing well tonight, but McAdoo and that offensive line are moving the ball on the ground.
A rule at his knee, touched down about 2 yards shy of where he actually got to. So on 2nd down, he tries to go over the top.
The guy that made that play is Rodney Harding. He submarined, which means he went under the offensive line to block a Jason Riley. And when McAdoo tried to cut in, there was no hole, and he flipped up in the air. That's good defense by 77. Right at the top of the screen. Watch, he's underneath. There he is. Now, when McAdoo tries to go, there's nowhere to go. That's a heck of a job by that defensive front.
It will be 3rd and 1. McAdoo has carried 9 times for 33 yards so far in the ball game. As we mentioned earlier, only Robert Mims has seen the ball more than Derek McAdoo as a running back.
And still averaging about 3.8.
This time McAdoo gets the 1st down, up and over and into the end zone, but they rule he was down at the 12-yard line.
Well, the Ticats are a little upset. They felt he was not touched as he went over, that he went down on his own accord. Therefore, he should have been allowed to get up and go. The referee says, no, bring it back.
I don't think there's any doubt that he was touched as he went up and over. Let's take another look.
Get a good look at it, right? There it is, right here, right over the shoulder. Looked like Chris Gaines, 38, and he hit the ground because of it.
Kerrigan throwing for the end zone. Champion could not get to that football against Ed Berry.
Now, if you want, that's a strange call. They've run the football all the way down here. They hadn't thrown a pass in this drive, and first thing he does is throw deep, and Berry had him covered like a blanket. Now they have to throw the ball this time. Try to go to Champion. Ed Berry, we said it's going to be a challenge for Berry and Pleasant. So far, they're meeting the challenge.
Champion in his 3rd game as a Ticat since returning to the team from the Green Bay Packers. He only had 1 reception last week against Winnipeg. This one bounces in front of Winfield. That was Reggie Pleasant doing his job on the right side.
You saw Reggie Pleasant. He read the curl route. He saw Winfield go down, turn to the inside. Pleasant tried to come around. The ball was thrown short into the ground, or Pleasant may have intercepted it.
Don Matthews has tremendous confidence in the ability of his corners to play these 2 wide receivers.
Yeah, he saw that curl coming. He took the inside route. That ball's thrown up. He had just as good a shot at it as Winfield did. So far, those 2 corners are doing a heck of a job for Toronto tonight.
Osbaldiston with a 19-yard field goal. It is good. With 5 minutes remaining in the half, it's a 15-6 ball game. The Argos leading the Ticats.
In Canada,
every week on
Well, with 5 minutes remaining in the half, the Ticats come up with 3 points, but they had to be disappointed that they couldn't carry that drive all the way to the end zone.
Yeah, when you get down there, you got to try to come away with that touchdown. It gives your offense a big lift.
This is the man who's been most dangerous for the Argos, Mike Clemens. He gets it back to the 43-yard line. Mark Waterman was the man who made the initial contact with some help from Floyd Salazar.
You get Clemens, if you look at him, he's 5'6", 170 pounds out of William and Mary. You know, it's amazing to see a guy that small that can bounce around and run like he can among the giants.
He had almost given up on a professional football career when another William and Mary alumnus called, referring to Ralph Sazio, and offered him a job. Oh! This didn't fool Grover Covington, and Dunnigan is dropped way back at the 25-yard line.
Grover Covington is a veteran, and he has seen Matt Dunnigan run naked bootlegs for the past 2-3 years. And you know he's going to stay at the top of the screen. He's not going to get sucked in to get an inside rush. He stays out where he should, and when Dunnigan comes out there, he's there to make the hit on him. That's experience. That's the experience factor.
Career quarterback sack number 155. 156 if we count the one he put on you just before the ball game.
Yeah, he's getting dirty. That he's sneaking up from behind now.
Dunnigan throwing deep. Andrew Murray can't catch up with it. I refer to the quarterback sack of Grover Covington on Ron Lancaster. Prior to the game, we saw him down at field level, and he came up behind Ron Lancaster and said, "I got you. I haven't had a quarterback sack for 3 games. I'm getting a little anxious."
Well, he is getting anxious. You know, I said to him, "You're getting like them dirty defensive linemen sneaking up from behind." So he started laughing, but they have missed him in that defensive line because he is a leader, and that's what they're hurting for now.
3:41 is the time remaining in the half. Good kick by Harper. Winfield waits for it at the 37. Winfield slipped as he tried to make his cut. That's where the Ticats will scrimmage when we return to Iverwin Stadium. With 3:29 remaining in the half, the Ticats are 1st and 10 from their own 42-yard line. We've seen a couple of players have difficulty trying to make cuts on the artificial turf at Iverwin that is wet in spots. Some of it may be due more to the spatting of the shoes than the wetness of the turf.
Yeah, I think so. Plus, this turf's about worn out now. They're going to have to replace it soon, and that's going to make it slippery.
Intercepted by Ed Berry. He loses the football, gets it back. There's a penalty flag on the play.
Just like he had eyes. He had to be in the huddle to make that play. He stepped right in front of the receiver like he knew where the ball was coming. That's an excellent defensive play.
Winfield was the target, but Berry took the football, and there was a late hit, I believe, on Ed Berry, resulting in a further gain for the Argos.
Major foul, spearing, Hamilton number 87, 1st down.
Well, you can't hit with the head when a guy's on the ground. You cannot do it. We'll see it. But watch where Berry's at. Look at this. He's standing right in front of Winfield, makes the interception. Now we'll see him trip him up. Lee Knight trips him up a little bit, but there it is right here. I don't think Champion was going. I think he's going after the ball more than the player, but he hit the player.
Kevin Smelly battles his way to the 40-yard line, a gain of very close to 10 yards before being stopped by middle linebacker Darrell Patterson. The Argos lead by 9 and are threatening to add to their advantage with 2:51 left in the half. Todd Dillon is warming up at that Hamilton bench, an indication that when the Ticats next get the football, there will be a quarterbacking change.
Well, I know they're going to make a change. I think I would let Kerrigan go the rest of the half with less than 3 minutes left. You know, let Kerrigan in there. Todd's going to take a series or so to warm up, and if they get the ball back, they'll have a chance to score. But maybe Mike, when he's thrown that ball that time, he slipped a little bit. Maybe he injured himself. We'll have to find out.
Paul Massotti has dropped back to the slot back position. Don Matthews is rotating his wideouts. Randy Marriott is in there along with Jeff Boyd. Here's Dunnigan throwing complete. Mike Campbell takes it into the end zone.
John, we just talked about second down and short. What's the odds of Dunnigan throwing the football? A good play action into the line. He had the wide receivers going deep. They were covered. It looked like Dunnigan was going to run, and all of a sudden he saw Campbell. Watch him. See, he wants to throw deep. Now he has to run because of Covington. He just drops it off. But I'll tell you one thing, Campbell ran like a back.
He showed sprinter's speed rather than that of a defensive lineman. 6'1", 258 pounds, and he took it in the end zone for his first professional touchdown.
Second-round draft choice last year out of Slippery Rock in Pennsylvania. I'd take the football home, too, if I was him.
A short yardage play that pays off big for the Toronto Argonauts, resulting in a Dunnigan to Mike Campbell touchdown. Teasing the crowd just a bit, indicating that he was going to throw it up in the stands. But that's his first professional touchdown. He isn't going to give that ball away. It's going to be a lifetime souvenir.
If I'm not mistaken, I think they got Campbell in a trade with Mike Campbell and Harold Holman, and then from Calgary for Doug Landry. Now, Landry's having enough problems out in PC, saying he doesn't want to play for Coach Obilovich. But the big thing is they're getting pretty good mileage out of Campbell and Holman.
Nice job. Nice job.
22-6. The Argos now leading Hamilton with 2:36 remaining in the half.
You know, now that I mentioned Bob Obilovich, I know they're going to talk with him at halftime, but I'm happy to see him back in the CFL. He's done a good job in Toronto, and now he's going to have a little bit of time to do it in BC. And I know we wish him well. We'll look forward to seeing him.
Derek McAdoo on the kickoff return. Well, Mike Campbell scores the touchdown. He's the first man downfield, all pumped up by that 40-yard TD reception to make the tackle.
I think he's tired right now. He had to run for a touchdown, run down the field. Now he says, now I can go catch my breath. Good play action. So he put that ball on the hip. Now Covington forces him out of the pocket. Campbell's just kind of standing around there, and here he goes. Watch him slip. There's one. So it's a little bit slippery over in that area, and one of the defensive backs fell.
There was a holding penalty against the Ticats on this kickoff return, but look at Campbell fight his way through to the ball carrier, Derek McAdoo. And that holding penalty takes the ball back to the 10-yard line. That's where the Ticats are scrimmaging under the direction of Todd Dillon, 1st and 10. Over the middle to Derek McAdoo. He'll get the first down. 2:23 is the time left in the half. 22-6, the Argos lead, but still time for the Ticats to march at the length of the field.
Well, what they do is they bring the backs, both of them. McAdoo. Here comes Sam Locks from the right. Now, he's going to make the block. Now, that should give McAdoo a chance to beat one person, but the linebackers, all three converge, and they limit it to a 10-yard gain. But if you want to say limit, but that's a first down, and that's important, and that's what Todd Dillon has to think about.
Winfield wide left. Dillon looks that way, then dumps it off on the screen to McAdoo. And McAdoo gets another first down. That was a screen, but McAdoo did most of that himself.
Well, he only had a one-man screen. If you notice, there was only one offensive lineman out there in front of him. And then McAdoo just decided to turn inside. Well, we saw his balance before, but that time he ran over a couple Argonauts to pick up about 20 yards. So they have a lot of time left to get some points.
1:57 remains in the first half. Dillon again trying to go short to slot back Lee Knight. He was being covered by Don Wilson. It will be 2nd and 10.
Good coverage downfield, good pressure inside. Watch number 70 again. Harold Holman coming from that nose position. Parker from the outside. There he is, coming right up the middle. It's hard enough throwing to your left when you have time. You got to be able to get those feet set, and the Argonauts right now aren't allowing the Ticat quarterbacks to get two at home in that pocket.
Holman has played a strong first half for the Argos. 2nd and 10. Over the middle. Richard Nurse was caught as soon as he grabbed that throw. Darrell Ford prevents Nurse from picking up more than just a couple of yards, and the Ticats are forced to punt with 1:42 left in the half. So the Argos are going to get the ball back in pretty good field position.
Well, the way the punting game's gone for him, if it gets to Clemens, he could return it, or Pleasant can block it. We'll have to keep our eyes on it.
Don Matthews had a rather interesting observation about playing games in Hamilton. He said, for us, it's almost like a road game because we bus over here and we're back in our own beds the same evening. Clemens takes it. He draws a no-yards flag, loses the football. They talk about the Argo bounce. It came right back to him and then bounced to the Ticats, but there was a no-yards call prior to that ball getting away from Clemens.
Yeah, they'll get the ball back. They got caught inside that 5-yard zone. Therefore, you cannot lose possession of the ball. They take the penalty and keep the ball.
But as Matthews said, with the 2 games that they play here in Hamilton during the course of the season and the 9 they play at home, he feels it's almost like having 11 regular season home games.
Yeah, he liked, let's face it.
No yards, a 5-yard penalty. Hamilton number 27. First down.
1:23 remains in the half. Scott?
Don O.B. knows football, and Bob Obilovich coached the Argos to a Grey Cup to prove it. That may have seemed like a breeze, though, compared to the job he took this week. The head coach and director of football operations for the BC Lions, his title. He'll join us in live at the half.
Nowhere for Matt Dunnigan to go. Ramel Andrews made sure of that. Dunnigan will actually lose a couple of yards in the play. Ramel Andrews in the Ticat lineup, his second game with the organization. He previously played in the CFL with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Second and 12. Dunnigan drilled it. Jeff Boyd tried to get set to make the catch. He was all by himself, and his feet slipped out from under him.
That's right. He slipped also, and that's the wet spot right over here. But as you say, drill it. Watch him drill his football. On the line, between the backers, but Boyd slips and falls. So instead of the first down, they have to give up the football. But you're right. Go back to what you said about the home games. It is the players, when they can sleep at home and stuff, they get into a routine, and coming across the highway, that's nothing for them. It is like having 11 home games.
And 5 of their next 7 games will be at home.
Don Matthews, we'll talk about that in the second half.
On third down, here's the pass for Darryl Smith and the first down. A fake third down punt with Glenn Harper, an ex-quarterback, throwing the ball out of punt formation.
What we're going to see is Darryl Smith lined up at the right end on the punt team. And all he's going to do, watch him, he's going to come back. Now he's going to find a hole right here, and that man right here, Mark Waterman, has to cover him, and he can't get to him, and Darryl Smith makes the catch. Well-executed play. What Waterman's job is to keep him to the outside, so when he goes out, he just comes in behind and gets a block. That's a good play.
Smith, the leading receiver in the CFL, ahead of Ray Elgard in terms of total yardage. The Argos keep the ball on that third down gamble, and they give it to Mike Clemens. 37 seconds remaining. Grover Covington and Lance Shields made the tackle.
Play action. All you try to do is freeze those backers and get that back. In this case, Clemens out in the flat, getting the football away from traffic.
The clock running. Second down. Dunnigan gets away from Weir. Throws back across the field to Darryl Smith for a first down at the 20-yard line. 22 seconds remaining in the half.
You got to get a little bit lucky that time. As Dunnigan was scrambling to his right and he was looking to see if he was clear, he saw Darryl Smith's hand and he threw it to him. That's a heck of an effort to be able to pick a guy right here. He saw that hand and he turned and threw it to him, and they hit the completion. Good eyes.
Dunnigan throwing into the end zone. Touchdown. Jeff Boyd all by himself as he got the back, turned around, and Wilkerson had no chance.
Yeah, Boyd put a move on him to the inside, and as he started to go back outside to the corner, Wilkerson, when he attempted to turn, he slipped and fell, and the ball hit number 80 right in the numbers. Watch it when we get the look to the left side. Good protection. Look how much time he's got. But look, you'll see Wilkerson slips. There he goes on the ground. Boyd makes the catch for an easy touchdown.
So with 14 seconds remaining, the Argos lead 28-6. What an interesting year it's been for Jeff Boyd. At training camp, cut by the Argos, on his way home to California. Lance Chomick with the point after, and the reason he's going after the football, he has now moved past Zenon Andrusician as the Toronto Argonauts' all-time scoring leader. He came into the ball game needing just 5 points, and he now has replaced the Big Z as the Argos' #1 all-time scoring leader. He has his name in the record books in a number of other departments as well.
Look at the time Dunnigan had. An excellent job by that offensive line. Jeff Boyd just turns to the outside, throw it down there low. He sees Wilkerson behind him, throw it low where Boyd can catch the football. They can't knock it down. And that's a very well executed drive set up by that fake punt to Darrell Smith.
Jeff Boyd, with the injury to Randy Marriott, driving back home to California, got the phone call to hurry back to the Argos. And he now has scored his 4th touchdown. This low kick picked up by McAdoo, and again it appeared as though McAdoo slipped as he was trying to make his cut. And McAdoo is having words with Dave Van Bellingham.
See, McAdoo's got to learn not to do that. Like Van Bellingham, that was a good tackle by him. And when McAdoo got up and started after him, he just kind of backed out there and walked away. Don't take crazy penalties. And Van Bellingham, for being a rookie, used his head.
Well, former Toronto Argonaut coach Bob Obilovich will be joining us live at the half. He'll be chatting with Scott Oak, discussing his new position as head coach of the BC Lions. Todd Dillon's sideline pattern taken out of bounds by Champion with 3 seconds remaining in the half. It was 15-6 with about 2 minutes remaining, and the Ticats had the football. It looked as though they had a chance to get closer to the Argos before the half ended, but then that interception led to 1 Toronto touchdown, the interception by Ed Berry, and the 3rd down gamble. Glenn Harper throwing complete over the middle to Darrell Smith, set up the other, and now it's 29-6.
And on that particular play, you saw Ed Berry sitting deep. He's going to give Tony Champion that catch in front of him with 3 seconds. What's he care? They're going to let him catch it in front of him again.
From the shotgun, Todd Dillon is forced to step up. He's going to throw it deep, looking for Winfield, and it's knocked away by the Argo defenders. There were 2 of them in that area, and that will end the first half with Don Matthews leading by 29-6.
That's the one right there.
Get to Harvey's before October 14th, and you're in for a very big surprise. It's Harvey's Big Deal.
Welcome to Live at the Half. Last week on Days of Our Lions, filmed in Vancouver, the owner declared he could stand it no more, and so he ordered the general manager to fire the coach. Then a few days later, fired the general manager himself. Now a new character has been written into the series. Bob Obilovich has a leading role. He takes over as head coach and director of football operations. Obilovich has serious credentials as a head coach, including a Grey Cup victory in 1983 at BC Place. Then in his 2nd year with the Argos, he would go on to become the league's longest-serving head coach. He had a winning record in all but 2 of 8 years in Toronto. Last year, things went sour. The Argos had been picked to storm to the Grey Cup, and when they fell far short, OB was fired. But the numbers don't lie. His teams won far more than they lost, and this is the record OB takes with him to BC. And now, after 2 days on the job in BC, OB joins us live from Vancouver. OB, you guys haven't made news in a big way in a couple of days, and I guess that's just the way you like it.
Yeah, that's a good sign as far as I'm concerned, Scott.
OB, I want to relate to our audience how you were put in touch with Murray Pezim. Well-known Vancouver columnist Jim Taylor called the Pez, I think, the week before last, and the Pez allowed that he might have to do something with his coaching situation. Jim Taylor said to him if he considered Bob Obilovich, and the Pez responded by saying, "Who is Bob Obilovich?" Whereupon Jim Taylor gave the Pez your phone number. That's a strange beginning, is it not?
Well, it's just about as strange as if somebody would have asked me who Murray Pezim was. I probably wouldn't have been able to tell you anything about gold mining either, so I can appreciate that.
When asked about your 3-year contract, the Pez said It's cheaper than some of my divorces. I guess that doesn't tell us about how much money you're making, but the 3-year contract, I'm sure, feels good.
Yeah, I wish I was one of his ex-wives.
OB, you're an orderly, organized individual, and it has been chaotic in Vancouver in the BC Lions organization. Do you anticipate any problems in working with Murray Pezim?
No, I really feel good about the opportunity. Of course, you know, it was one of those situations where, you know, you kind of hate to come into it the way it all happened, and that, but by the same token, it provided me with an opportunity to come back into the league, and I'm excited about working for the man. I think we've hit it off. He's given me complete control of everything to do with the football operation end of the business and the club, and I'm really happy about that, and I think with my past experience in Toronto that I can make a positive contribution to getting the team organized and getting them headed in the right direction.
Now you have had a couple of days on the job. Do early returns suggest that you can turn things around, and do you have any chance of collecting the $70,000 bonus for getting the Lions to the Grey Cup?
Boy, that's a great figure. I'll be happy if things work out that way, but you know, you got to be honest. You know, we got an uphill battle, but I certainly don't think it can't be done, because I've often been commented on as being the eternal optimist, and I think I am. And I remember being 5-11 in 1981 and taking probably the best team in the league for a long time, 14-1-1, the Eskimos, right to the hilt. We had them 20-1 at the half in the Grey Cup, and could have won it. So anything can happen if you get to the playoffs, but it's going to be a tough battle for us to get to the playoffs, but that's going to be our goal. That's going to be our goal at this time.
OB, in just a couple of words, update us on the status of Tank Landry. Is he on or off the team right now? Quickly, if you would.
There's no problem with Tank. In fact, we had a good meeting today. He came in to see me, and I think, you know, he feels good about me being there, and I feel good about having him, because I definitely know his abilities as a football player, and as long as Tank is being a positive guy for our football team, which I don't think there's any doubt about him doing it on the football field, I think that he's making a heck of an effort of getting his life straightened out, and I'm pleased to say that
all right.
I expect him to play well for us.
OB, thanks for your time. We appreciate you coming into our Vancouver studios, and good luck.
Thank you.
Bob Obilovich back in the league, in which he was a fixture for 8 years with the Toronto Argos, but this time facing an uphill battle, that is to turn things around in the chaotic front office of the BC Lions. Stay with us. Live at the Half returns to Argonauts Stadium in just a moment.
Where?
Well, Scott, prior to the game, Don Matthews told us that he was pleased with the improved play of his special teams, and he has reason to be chuckling at halftime after the work of Mike Clemens and Reggie Pleasant.
Well, that's for sure. You know, he said he wants to get the ball in Clemens' hands as much as possible. This is a surprise to me. Normally when the ball bounces like that, you catch the ball, run ahead, and get hit and fall down. But look at the wall of blockers by the Toronto Argonauts. And down here is Don Wilson, number 20. He's his cleanup man. He hits Darryl Corbin, and now Harold Holman's a one-man escort to the end zone. I don't think you could diagram that play any better. I don't know if it went according to plan, but it's unbelievable.
And Clemens broke that one for 92 yards, came close to running another back. He was stopped after a 57-yard return. 29-6 is the halftime score. Toronto leading Hamilton here at Ivor Wynne Stadium.
Using a surgeon's precision, the Rough Riders quarterback dissected the Winnipeg defense en route to a 55-11 thrashing of the Blue Bombers in their annual Labor Day Classic. Boston rushed for 1 TD and completed 18 of 27 passes for 390 yards and 4 TDs. Kent Austin, CFL Priority Courier Offensive Player of the Week.
When it's time to play football, I exit the real world. Rather primitive, isn't it?
In Ottawa, 67% of football fans tested preferred the taste of Diet 7-Up.
Boy, were we thirsty.
Over Diet Coke.
Someone tried to take my Diet 7-Up away from me. I'm afraid we'd have to discuss it.
Challenge your taste.
BBC.
Half about to get underway with the Toronto Argonauts kicking off to the Hamilton Ticats and leading 29-6. A bouncing kick that the Ticats have some problems with. Ernie Schremeyer finally picks it up, and they'll rule that he was downed at the 45-yard line. Statistically, this is what happened in the first half. The Ticats had more first downs, but the work of the special teams was a key factor for the Toronto Argonauts. They also got an interception that paved the way to a touchdown, a blocked punt that led to another touchdown. The Ticats and the Argos threw the ball more than they ran it in the opening half. Todd Dillon replaced Mike Kerrigan late in the second quarter. He starts the third quarter at quarterback and will run the ball for a gain of 7, stopped by Robert Smith.
Got to do that. Don't start forcing the football. Don't start trying to throw for the end zone. You got 29-6. You have a whole half to play. Take the ball and march it down the field. You see Hamilton mostly to the back. The Argonaut defensive secondary has done a great job back in the deep area. Took the slots completely away and have not allowed Champion them to catch the football.
This one is complete over the middle to Lee Knight for a first down.
That's that over-under pattern that they like to run. They bring Richard Nurse underneath at about 4 yards. They take Lee Knight down about 12 and 14 and cross him into the open area that you hope Nurse creates for you, and it worked to perfection.
First and 10. The ball is at the Argo 46-yard line. McAdoo met head on about a yard behind the line of scrimmage by Harold Hallman, who has been having an outstanding football game.
They were coming with a halfback blitz. That means all the gaps are going to be taken, but he's right over Dale Sanderson. Watch him. He got inside, and when McAdoo turns to run, that is good defense. You're not going to run over a guy that's about 260 pounds. I don't care how tough McAdoo is. Hallman's tougher.
Second and 11, Hamilton. Dillon is intercepted and buried down the sidelines and forced out by McAdoo.
And Berry intercepts Todd Dillon's pass.
Now, we've talked the whole game about the matchup was Berry and Pleasant versus Champion and Winfield. I want you to watch the coverage that Ed Berry has on Tony Champion. This is good ISO. Mo Waters got him again. Look at him. He's sitting. When the ball's thrown, he cuts in front, and away he goes. Great defense. I mean, we've talked about it all night, but you're getting a good look at it right there.
Well, Rod Hill was the star of the ball game last Sunday, intercepting Kerrigan 5 times in the Winnipeg Blue Bomber victory over the Ticats. Ed Berry has 2 interceptions in the game tonight. One against Kerrigan, the other against Dillon. Pass intended for Clemens, incomplete.
They come on that. Grover Covington puts that quick pressure on Dunnigan, and he can't get set to get that ball out in the flat. Frank Robinson was about 3 yards, 3 steps behind Clemens, but Dunnigan just threw it a little bit low.
In the first half, Matt Dunnigan had a preference for his slot backs in the Argo passing attack.
That's a pretty good distribution of backs and the wide receivers, 25% and 50 inside. That means he's throwing the ball, mixing it up, throwing it around to everybody. That's pretty good distribution because there's 2 slot backs.
Second and 10. Dunnigan going deep. He overshoots Paul Massotti.
Pass is incomplete.
Again, Covington had pretty good pressure and forced Dunnigan to throw it high. But good coverage downfield, too. Dawson had him, and along with Wilkerson, they were both there on Massotti.
I talked about the job Rod Hill did last week against the Ticats. Hill was covering Tony Champion. Ed Berry. This is going to be a fake. Watch for this. This could be a fake. Here it is. Chomick wide open. The Argos set up when the near hash marks. They faked as though Chomick was going to go over to the bench to pick up a kicking tee. Instead, he went downfield on a pass pattern. They caught the Ticats on a fake field goal attempt.
Yeah, you got to be, anytime a guy goes in motion, I don't care who he is, you better cover him. Chomick goes over like he forgot the kicking tee. And they're all set up, they snap it. Nobody covers them, so Conjemi just takes the ball and throws it out to Lance Chomick, and he gets a big first down. This makes the highlight reel for Lance Chomick. He may have set a record for Argonaut scoring, but he'll talk about his pass reception forever.
There's Clemens on the throw from Dunnigan for the touchdown.
They brought a halfback blitz. Number 12, Stefan Jordan, came on the blitz. Clemens set up like he was going to block, and at the last minute slipped out in the flat, and there's nobody to cover him. Watch him. All right, he's gone, but look at this. That's an easy walk for Clemens. He'll jog in from there.
Well, the Argos at the start of the season promised they'd be shooting the lights up. I think they've turned out the lights on the Hamilton Ticats here at Iberwin tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for them to come back now because they have not shown that they can march the football and put it in the end zone.
Lance Chomick with a scoring record and also with a pass reception that leads to another Toronto touchdown.
Need a live minnow and a bobber.
John Kangemi is considering acting as a post-football career, but he is very animated here and apparently chastising Lance Chomick for forgetting his kicking tee. And he fooled the Hamilton Ticats because they went to sleep as Chomick went downfield on that fake.
Trumeyer takes the kickoff.
The thing you have to admire here, you know, the players love, these are gimmick plays, and you have to have some of these in your repertoire. It makes it interesting in practice. Now, that takes a lot of practice, and as you say, Kangemi did a great job. But the sad part is, anytime a guy goes in motion when the ball's in play, you better pay attention to him or you can get burnt. And they just burned him very badly there.
Well, Kangemi must have really been yelling at Chomick about forgetting the kicking tee because the Ticats simply stood and watched Chomick head off to the sidelines. Tony Champion makes the reception, but again he had Ed Berry draped all over him.
That's a good catch by Champion that time. He made that curl pattern, and as he turned to the inside, come back to the ball, Ed Berry almost had a shot at it, but Champion just pulled it out of his hand. That's good concentration.
Second catch the Champion has made in tonight's ball game. And Lee Knight over the middle gets another Hamilton first down to the 40 of the Argos.
Todd Dillon took a pretty good shot from James Parker just as he threw that football. You'll see Parker, watch him come around Mike Dirks. You got to step up in that pocket. Just he throws it. Parker's on to the ground, and he fell on that leg. That's why Todd Dillon was limping a little bit when he got up. Seems to be okay now, walking okay.
First and 10 from the 40. Dillon slips, and Harold Hallman was partially responsible for making sure that Dillon didn't go anywhere.
Hallman came in with 3 sacks tonight. I think that's at least 2 that he's gotten so far. The Argonauts came in with a team total of 26 sacks, and that's Hallman's 3rd sack tonight. So I'd say he's having a pretty fair game. He's rushing the quarterback and making hits on the line of scrimmage. That's about all you can ask. And leading ball carriers for touchdowns.
The Ticats might not be enjoying what's happening tonight at Iberwin, but the Ottawa Rough Riders looking in from Regina certainly are. Dillon is under pressure again. Oh, great speed displayed there by Harold Hallman in chasing him down. We remarked earlier how fast Hallman was on the punt return by Clemens and running downfield with him. You saw evidence again of the speed of Harold Hallman in chasing down Todd Dillon for a big
job. The pressure comes from the outside right here. 38 Chris Gaines. But now watch Harold Hallman close the gap on Todd Dillon. Just can't get away from him. Those receivers have got to come back to the quarterback and get in his vision. All right, Gaines chases him out. Now number 7. Now the receivers have got to come over here to at least give him somebody on the sideline to throw it out of bounds. But when you look downfield, there was nobody there.
Clemens getting set for this punt return. Penalty flag on the play as Clemens brings it out to the 33-yard line. It will probably be a holding call against Toronto. Scott?
Well, Don, part of the Tiger Cats' extraordinarily long injury list is the all-time reception leader in the CFL, Rocky DiPietro, had his knee scoped this week, and when can he come back?
Well, it looks like it'll be about 3 or 4 weeks before I can hopefully play. It's feeling pretty good right now, but it's going to take some time, and don't want to rush it. I want to play the remainder of the season.
This score would suggest this team could use you and a few other players.
Well, we can use a lot more right now. I think we're a little down right now, and it's tough when you get down in a hole. I think the fans are starting to turn on us a bit, so it's been a tough season for us. You know, we got new personnel in there every game. It's hard to get some, you know, something established. So hopefully things will turn around for us.
Thanks, Rocky. Get well soon. Don?
Rocky DiPietro, the CFL all-time pass receiving leader. Mike Clemens, the ball carrier, carrying it out to the 22-yard line, stopped by Darrell Patterson. 36-6 is the score, 8:43 remaining in this third quarter. Al Bruno was concerned coming into the ball game as to whether he'd be able to stop this explosive offense of the Argos. He felt that he'd be able to bring his defensive ends up wide and contain Matt Dunnigan, but a couple of trick plays, a fake third down punt, a fake field goal, a punt return, and a block punt have done in the Ticats tonight.
Yeah, when we looked at the stats from the first half, there wasn't much difference as far as offensive goes. It's been the special teams play that has been the difference. The Ticats right now, that's as good a defensive surge that they've shown. I mean, they shut it right down. I don't know if they made that 1st and 10. They were second and about a half a yard. That's Ramel Andrews and Chris Schultz. Chris Schultz at 6'7" and about 300 pounds, and Ramel Andrews, they force that ball carrier inside, and there's a host of black jerseys waiting on him. So now we're down to 3rd and 1.
.7:55 the time remaining.
I thought they would measure that. I mean, looking at it down there, very difficult to tell. I don't know whether it's a full yard or what. I think both coaches felt they were going to measure for the first down, and when they didn't do it, neither coach had their return team or punting team in the game.
Neither side appeared to be prepared. All sorts of movement at the line of scrimmage. It's a procedure call. It will go against the Argonauts. I think it may have been Gaines who broke out of his three-point stance.
There he went, right there, right on the side. Number 38, Chris Gaines moved. That's procedure.
So that will take it back 5 yards.
I think the Argonauts are a man short on this punt.
Yes, they are a man short. You see the signal from Glenn Harper to the bench, and he'll let the 20-second clock expire, and the Argos will be backed up an additional 5 yards.
I mean, I know now, as well as our special teams have played, Coach Matthews won't be happy about this. You don't make mistakes at this stage of the season. You must be in the game.
Well, in defense of Chris Munford, he has only been with the Argos for a short time.
You are given a list of what teams you're on. You practice them every day. It's posted on the board.
Harper's third down punt. It bounces to Winfield at the 45, and he's forced out of bounds. Ticats will scrimmage from the Toronto 41 when we return.
I like Diet 7-Up. I like to hit people. If I had to give one of them up, I'd say no.
In BC, 64% of football fans tested preferred the taste of Diet 7-Up over Diet Coke.
I'm really very nice.
Challenge your taste.
CFL Priority Courier Player of the Week. The lineman player for week number 9 is Edmonton's Mike Walker. The Edmonton Eskimos sacked it to their arch-rival Calgary Stampeders 38-4 on Labor Day, with Walker leading the charge. The 9-year CFL stalwart spent the day in the Stampeder backfield, applying constant pressure, notching 4 of Edmonton's 7 sacks. Mike Walker, CFL Priority Courier Lineman Player of the Week.
George Fox's New Country, starring George Fox, with his special guests Highway 101 and Michelle Wright. George Fox's New Country coming to CBC and News Saturday, September 22nd.
Every week on Venture, what's up, what's shifting, what's changing in Canadian business. And when big news shakes global markets, Venture reporters are there. Sunday night on Venture, right after Sunday Report.
Well, to Grandma and Grandpa, wherever you are, happy 44th. And guys, our commercial department will be over there shortly to collect advertising revenue.
Hey, 44 years. I'll congratulate him too. 44 years.
Grover Covington looks on as the Ticats, under the direction of Todd Dillon, scrimmage 1st and 10 from the 41. Now, Don Matthews felt that his Argos could pretty much contain the running game of the Hamilton Ticats. And while McAdoo has had a lot of work tonight, he really hasn't broken anything against them.
No, when we talked about his rushing yards earlier, his average was still about 3.8. That's what he came into the game with. Well, Mike Kerrigan is really having problems, and he's a much better quarterback than his statistics this year prove. And, you know, you have years like that. You just got to keep playing and fight out of it.
Todd Dillon got away from Don Moan, who was blitzing the sideline pass for Winfield over his head.
See, that's good. Now, I mean, Dillon was in trouble from the word go. As soon as he got the ball, the pressure was there. Winfield's on the sideline. At least Dillon can throw it up in the stands in his direction and not get called for intentional grounding. The last time he scrambled, there was nobody downfield. Sometimes quarterback has to do that. Hit that girl in the blue dress up behind the bench. You know, just throw it.
Well, the Argos caught the Ticats unprepared for a fake field goal. I don't think there's any such play in the book of the Hamilton Ticats. Paul Osbaldiston kicks it through the uprights with 6:15 remaining in the third quarter. And that's all the Ticats have had tonight, has been the kicking of Paul Osbaldiston. Scott?
Don, Dave Van Bellingham, the backup safety for the Argos and the star for them on specialty teams, is out for this game, and then some perhaps. He's torn the bicep muscle on his right arm. He got a face mask on it just as he was contracting, and that's what's caused the injury, so he will not play again tonight, and that's a loss to the Argos specialty teams, to be sure.
Well, he just can't contract anymore, I guess. No, that's too bad, because he's having a pretty good season. Rookie out of the University of Calgary, getting a chance to play, done a great job on special teams, and then all of a sudden gets hurt.
Kevin Smelly managed to pick up about 3 yards with 5:51 remaining in the third quarter, and the Argos comfortably in control, 36-9. The Argos have racked up the points in this, their third meeting against the Ticats tonight, as they did in their previous two. A preseason rout and a regular season win. Jeff Boyd was on the receiving end of the Dunnigan throw. He had 2 defenders back there with him, and I think one of them may have deflected the ball. In the preseason game, the Argos won 60-19. The regular season game, 41-29 was the Argo win.
That was one of those bang-bangers, a slant-in, quick post-type pattern to Boyd. It looked like the pass hit Boyd, and Stephan Jordan arrived at the same time. I mean, either one can catch it, and as a result, nobody catches it.
Harper's third down kick. Bounces back towards the line of scrimmage, and Harper may get it. It's loose and is picked up by Keith Costello. But there's a penalty flag in the play with 5:01 remaining in the quarter. Retained possession on that third down kick. Watch number 11, Glenn Harper, race up there. The ball is touched by 2 members of the Ticats, but it comes loose and Keith Costello grabs it. Glenn Harper, as the punter, is eligible to race up and grab that football.
He sure is, you know, and he does a wise thing. Punting against the wind, that ball's hanging up there, so as soon as he hit it, he took off running.
Here's that screen pass. Darrell Smith will be very close to another Toronto first down up to midfield. A lot of teams like to run that screen, that hitch screen this year. Winnipeg's James Murphy has been effective with it. The Toronto Argonauts used Darryl Smith in that hitch screen a lot.
Right, get the ball to a receiver that is good running with the football. Darryl Smith's a kick returner, a pass receiver, so you know he can run well with it. James Murphy is very strong. That's the kind of guy you want the ball in their hands.
It's just short of a first down. Dunnigan will keep. He'll get the first down. 4:04 is the time left in the third quarter. 36-9, the Toronto Argonauts lead. A report from the Toronto bench is that Glenn Harper said to someone over there, when you kick the ball that badly, you should go get it.
Well, he's got a point there. It went up and that wind just caught it. And he did take off. He made a good play.
Well, they tried that hitch screen to the left this time. It's not nearly as effective as it was to the other side as Bobby Dawson came up to put the hit on Darryl Smith. Al Bruno has to be concerned with what has happened to his Ticats over the last few weeks. They have now lost 3 in a row and look as though they are going down to their 4th straight setback.
Yeah, the turnovers hurt tonight, but it's the special teams of the Argonauts that have done the damage.
2nd and 10. Dunnigan being chased by Frank Robinson and caught by the linebacker.
Dunnigan, the ball carrier. Robinson and Jordan.
Coming outside, you can see the Ticats coming from behind. You hesitate at all, and they're going to get you. Frank Robinson just run them down, and then there to finish them off. I think it's Stefan Jordan again on that halfback blitz coming from the wide side of the field.
Frank Robinson was not employed by anybody at the start of the season, but he had some inquiries from the Toronto Argonauts about possibly coming back to play. He contacted the Ticats and asked if they'd be interested, and indeed they were. So he wound up playing again for the Hamilton Ticats. Winfield on the 3rd down punt. He can't go anywhere. Good downfield coverage by the Argos. Well, Don Matthews was one of the coaches in the Canadian Football League, as I'm sure all of them were, delighted to hear of the decision arrived at this past week that enables each team to dress a 3rd quarterback. There are some who suggested that economics might play a role. Matthews didn't agree. He said having a 3rd quarterback on the roster certainly eases your concern if your 2 quarterbacks or one of your quarterbacks should get hurt early in the 1st quarter. Then you're on pins and needles that the other guy doesn't go down the rest of the ball game.
That's the name of the game. People come to see football. They don't want to see a punter or a lineman or whatever playing quarterback. They want to see a quarterback.
Into the ball game is Carl Parker, who caught his first CFL touchdown pass last week against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in his first game in the Canadian Football League. He was the designated import coming into the ball game.
He was with the Cincinnati Bengals out of Vanderbilt University, and what Coach Bruno likes about him is his toughness. He'll catch the ball in a crowd. Took a couple hits last week, bounced right back up, so he's getting the opportunity to show it again.
Winfield on the sidelines, taken out of bounds by Reggie Pleasant.
Pass complete to Winfield. Pleasant making the tackle.
Ricky Foggy and John Kangemi are the 2 backup quarterbacks for the Toronto Argonauts. Could be that Foggy, who made his CFL debut with the Argos just a couple of weeks ago in Edmonton and was impressive, may see some action tonight. The screen pass to Derek McAdoo picks up about 9 yards. Darryl Ford and Chris Gaines, the 2 linebackers who have been making most of the tackles for the Toronto Argonauts tonight, were both in on that stop.
Well, they're going to be in that zone again. Drop back, allow the pass underneath. It's a screen pass, then come up and make the hit. I'm pretty sure if we see another quarterback, it'll be that man, Ricky Foggy. Kangemi at the press conference yesterday, Coach Matthews was talking about, said he really isn't 100% yet. So, you know, he's dressed as for an emergency, but right now, we'll see Foggy if we see anybody.
Well, Foggy back on August 27th at Edmonton came into the ball game late as a replacement for Tom Porras. By the way, is now with the Calgary Stampeders. And midway through the 4th quarter, he threw for 204 yards and 7 completions, 3 of them going for touchdowns.
He hasn't thrown an interception yet, and he's thrown for 5 touchdowns. And, you know, he may have been in BC for a few years to learn how to play, but in the little bit of playing time he's had with the Argonauts, he has shown that he can play, and it's kind of nice to see him play a little bit. We haven't seen him, Don. I know I haven't.
The pitch to McAdoo, and McAdoo is taken down and out of bounds at the line of scrimmage by Darryl Ford.
I'll tell you that. Right here we get a good example of the aggressive defense by that. We talk about that trio of linebackers. Chris Gaines, 38's in the backfield, forces him wide, and who's there to make the hit? Darryl Ford, the other linebacker. They're the first 2 to the ball.
We talked about the 3 Toronto quarterbacks. Kerrigan and Terry Andrzak are on the sidelines with Todd Dillon, the starting quarterback. Andrzak out of the University of Notre Dame. Ball comes loose, and Parker gets it back.
Andrzak told me yesterday he's going to have to buy a hat to stand on the sidelines.
And that is the end of the 3rd quarter.
When it's time to play football.
6-9 the score. The Argos leading the Ticats as we start the 4th quarter. Paul Osbaldiston will be punting. Carl Parker was able to recover the ball after he fumbled it after making the catch, but he didn't have a first down. Frank Robinson is the first man downfield to make contact with Mike Clemens at the 31-yard line. Take a look at the bottom of the screen. In time of possession, the Ticats have had it for almost 7 minutes more than the Argos, but those 4 turnovers have been the difference. Net yards almost the same. Play of the special teams, which we spoke about earlier in the game, has really been the big factor.
Well, the statistics back it up. Rushing yards about even, passing yards 1 yard different. The special teams of the Argonauts have been the big story here tonight.
Ricky Foggy has replaced Matt Dunnigan as quarterback for the Argos. 1st and 10 from the 31. Foggy likes to run with the ball, and he picks up almost 9 yards. You know, I think the fact that the Argos were able to pluck him off the roster of the BC Lions may have been one of the reasons that Joe Kapp was in such shaky ground out in BC and wound up being fired by the Pez.
Well, you look at the athletic ability. He's a good runner, as you mentioned. He likes to run with the football, but he went through his learning process with the BC Lions, and when you teach the guy how to play, you don't want to lose him, and the BC Lions lost him.
Incomplete, intended for Darryl Smith.
That's where practice comes in. Like right here, he has Darryl Smith open. All he has to do is hit him with the football, and they get the first down. He just gets a little bit too far out in front of him. You know, Don Matthews yesterday at the press conference was very, very loose. Talked like his players and him are having a good time, and tonight they have played like that. They are a very loose football team. Look like they're having a lot of fun tonight, and then, you know, it is a game. If you're not going to have fun, don't play.
Glenn Harper's 3rd down kick goes to Winfield. And again, Winfield appeared to slip as he tried to make his cut. Even had he not lost his footing, he wasn't really going anywhere.
No, they had him funneled in. Like the special teams job is the outside people contain you, make you go to the inside where you can get some help. And as you say, he slipped and fell, but there were a few white jerseys just about to arrive.
He said it's been fun for Don Matthews and the Argos, anything but for Al Bruno and the Ticats tonight.
Well, it's been a very, very tough month. 3 losses in a row, looking at number 4 right down a barrel tonight. You know, when things go bad, it's hard to work. You've got to get out of that. You've got to win some football games, get some confidence.
Rodney Harding was pressuring Todd Dillon. He got the ball away to Sam Louts. Don Wilson finally stops Louts, but not before he had penetrated by Argo 54.
It's a screen pass. Watch him. Drop it off to Louts. Now, Louts comes back to the inside to pick his blockers up. He said, if they're not going to come to me, I'm going to go to them. And he picks up the blockers, and he just turns it upfield. That's a good run. First time he's touched the ball tonight outside of dropping a pass earlier.
Dillon on 1st and 10. Over the middle looking for Lee Knight. It will be 2nd and 10 with 12:30 remaining in the game.
Now, we talked about the play of the corners, Berry and Pleasant, but there you saw a good play by Carl Brazeley. We saw Lee Knight turn to the inside, start across field. He just cut up in front of him and got that big right hand up, knocks it away.
Munford playing the safety position with the injury to Dave Van Bellingham. Carl Brazeley at that inside halfback position. Here comes the blitz from the outside. Don Moan got there just as Todd Dillon threw downfield.
He had the matchup that he wanted. McAdoo being covered by number 38, Chris Gaines, coming out of the backfield. Now, not Van Bellingham, Mumford's back in that safety position. You saw him come into the picture late to try to help out, but you saw McAdoo. He's got the step on him. He's got a step or so on him, but it's just overthrown. Man coverage, you get that matchup, you like to go to it.
3rd and 10, Osbaldiston from his own 40-yard line. Clemens takes it on the run. There's a penalty flag. Almost certainly this will be a no yards call.
Taken by Clemens.
At least it appeared as though there were some people inside that 5-yard area. 11:51 remains in the game.
Yeah, probably.
We're having a great time!
I told you.
We're having a better time than they are!
I don't know why they do this every game.
Damon Allen and the Ottawa Rough Riders are back for the rematch Friday, September 21st. For tickets, call 429-ESKS.
Buy a ticket! Don't miss out!
Come watch us play.
Buy another ticket!
I'm tired.
Well, Don Matthews has used all 3 of his quarterbacks tonight. Al Bruno might do the same as Terry Andrzak warms up at the Hamilton bench.
You know what? That third quarterback rule we know was put in for injury, but also guys like Andrzak, Tony Rice, Major Harris, they need playing time, and this is the way to get it for them. Picked off.
This is intercepted by Lance Shields. It was intended for Randy Marriott. Well, when Foggy came into the ball game, you said he had thrown 5 touchdown passes without having one intercepted.
Should never talk about that. As soon as you do it, they throw it. Well, number 1, Foggy threw it off his back foot, but number 2, he underthrew it, and Lance Shields, we said he can cover one-on-one. And he just stepped right into the line of fire and picks off the pass, and away he goes. And for Shields, that's his 3rd. He had one against the Argonauts last time. Now he's got another one.
Lance Shields getting the interception, giving Terry Andrzak the opportunity to play quarterback. 1st and 10 from the 54. Andrzak throwing to the sidelines. The catch is made by Champion.
Barry had him covered perfectly, but like we say all the time, if you underthrow the ball to the wide receiver, your receiver's looking back. The defensive back's looking at the receiver, and you'll get a good look at it. Watch where Tony Champion is looking as compared to where Ed Barry's looking. By the time Barry turns around, Champion's already stopped and come back and caught the ball. It's a good throw.
1st and 10. The ball is at the 33-yard line. Champion again. He takes it out of bounds at the 27-yard line.
Has a good read. Came on a halfback blitz. Carl Brazeley came clean. Andrzak just stepped back. He saw the blitz. It's coming right at him, and he threw it. And a quarterback will never get hurt if he knows where the blitz is coming from.
Al Bruno had a rather humorous comment yesterday about the 3rd quarterback. He said, now I'll have the fans yelling for me to make a 3rd change rather than just 2 during the course of a game.
Well, looked like it worked. That's good to see, though. He needs to play a little bit.
2nd down and 4. Penalty flag on the play. Andrzak throwing down the sidelines. Now the Hamilton receiver, Lee Knight, was well out of bounds, and was he forced out by Carl Brazeley?
Well, they were both out of bounds. I don't know who forced who, but there was a flag anyway, so it wouldn't have counted. Let's see who it's on.
A procedure call against the Ticats.
Procedure. Hamilton, number 85. Decline. Third down.
Richard Nurse is guilty of the procedure call. Lee Knight was a good 3 or 4 yards out of bounds. He was going to get back into the field to play.
He was going to hide. He was going to get open behind that kicking net over there.
10-17 remaining in the game. 3rd and 4. Andrzak to the sidelines, taken out of bounds by Parker.
Nice throw. Good throw. Got Parker and Holman both getting up a little bit slow. They got to the quarterback. They must have collided. But Andrzak on a 3rd down situation, he sent Champion deep, clear it out, and then has Parker break to the sidelines. Graysley had good coverage. Parker made a good reception.
1st and 10 at the 14-yard line. This is only the 2nd time tonight that the Ticats have been this deep into Argo territory.
You know, when you think back to that particular series, they ran the ball down to the 12 or 10 or 15, whatever it was, and then they threw 2 passes, and they haven't been down there since.
Andrzak over the middle looking for Sam Laux. It's incomplete.
And Darryl Ford, man-to-man coverage. He's got the back coming out of the backfield, and he's right with him where he should be.
The play of those 2 Toronto linebackers, Ford and Gaines, has improved tremendously since the start of the season.
Well, if you know, Don, we were there last year when Gaines played his first game with the Argonauts, so he only had a few games experience. Ford comes in as a rookie, so they had to mature. They have to learn how to play, and I'll tell you, if they keep going the way they are, along with Don Moan, that's a heck of a trio.
2nd and 10. Andrzak gets to the outside, under pressure. He lost the football, but got it back. Mike Campbell, who has scored a touchdown tonight, got through to put the hit on Terry Andrzak.
Well, Terry, you know, is a young quarterback out of a college program where he used to sprint out. He's more at home sprinting out. Managed to hold on to the football, but Mike Campbell, when they forced him back to the inside, coming on that pursuit, he's there to make the hit.
Don Matthews doing a fair bit of substituting in the 4th quarter of this football game. 3rd down gamble. Champion at the goal line. He didn't get in. He was stopped just short.
3rd down, 14 yards, though. That's a key throw and a confidence builder for Andrzak. Champion has been going straight downfield all night. This time he goes down about 14 yards and then breaks to the inside. And you get that defensive back on your hip, then you have the chance, as you see right here. He can keep the ball away from the defender, which he does. He protects it with his body.
Champion goes out of the ball game. And the Ticats will send in their short yardage offense.
I don't know anything about Andrzak. I wouldn't give it to anybody. I'd run some quarterback sneaks, see if I can get it in myself. It's been a long time since he's got to play.
Good concentration by Tony Champion to make that catch down at the goal line. Andrzak on 1st and goal. He will keep it. Touchdown.
Good call. I like it. Well, Chris Gaines is mad at somebody. I can't quite. There he is. Darryl Harley, number 63. Don't fight. Play nice. All right.
Andrzak celebrates his first touchdown by throwing the ball up into the stands. 36-15 the score now with 8:02 remaining in the game. Penalty flags fly as Paul Osbaldiston adds the point after.
Offside. Toronto number 90. The convert is good. 5
We'll
yards
be
on
back with the Hamilton kickoff after this. That Paul Osbaldiston is kicking off from the 40-yard line. The 5-yard offside penalty on the convert applied to the kickoff. Clemens from the 25. stopped at the 34-yard line.
Schremeyer and
Dawson
on the tackle.
And Schremeyer were there to make the tackle.
Just a quarterback sneak, go to the right behind Jason Riley and Miles Gurrell. And he gets in for the touchdown, and he throws the ball up in the stands. You know, the Argonauts come in tonight averaging 35.6 points a game. They've got 36. I'd say they're right on track.
Ricky Foggy continues as quarterback for the Argos. Draw play with Clemens. Out to the 41. We said earlier in the game that Don Matthews felt good about his team's position with regard to finishing first in the Eastern Division over the final few weeks of the season. 5 of the 7 remaining games in the Argos schedule are at home, and first place could ultimately come down to a home-and-home battle with Winnipeg on October the 5th and October the 19th. Foggy carries. He stopped about a yard short of the first down.
When you sprint out and send 2 receivers out to that side, they can cover him pretty easily. You are the only guy left. You're going to end up running with the football most of the time, and that's what Foggy had to do. And as a result, he's going to come up a little bit short. Looks like they're going to kick it, though.
A long night for the Hamilton defense. They've had to contend with a little of everything. A fake field goal, a fake third down punt.
Well, they've had everything that can happen to you tonight, I think, that can happen, right? Block a punt, run a punt for a touchdown.
Pass on short yardage to a defensive lineman.
That's right, and then a fake punt, and then a fake field goal. I don't know what else they can do. Let's think, is there anything else they can do tonight? The punter hasn't run yet. That's about it.
Winfield from the 17-yard line. Penalty flag in the play. This will be a penalty against Darrell Patterson for blocking from the rear against Darrell Ford.
Well, you know, in our talks with the coaches, you know, regardless of which team it is, you know, when you punt the football, you try to keep that ball to the numbers to the sideline so you don't have to try to defend a field that is 65 yards wide. You want to narrow him in, keep him pinned in there, and that was a good example.
Hamilton, number 78, first down.
There you see 21 running, and here comes Darrell Patterson, number 78, and there's the clip. He hit him in the back. Got to get that head in front, and he didn't do it.
Draw play. Derek McAdoo runs it out to the 18-yard line. Further to what you were saying about punt coverage, Don Matthews said they like to concentrate and play on about 75% of the field on punt coverage.
Oh, yeah. Otherwise, you know, 12 men, you spread 12 men across this field, there's some big, big seams between them. He says if we can narrow the field down on them, it helps us as cover.
Chris Gaines, the linebacker, made the tackle on McAdoo in the previous play. This time it's Ed Berry coming up to make the tackle on McAdoo, but he does get the first down.
And once again, it was Chris Gaines forcing it into this backfield, and then when McAdoo cuts in from there, Ed Berry's there to make the hit. Harold Hallman, number 70, he's had an outstanding game tonight for the Toronto Argonauts.
The Argos, over the final 7 weeks of the season, only go on the road twice, to Winnipeg on October the 5th and to Regina on October the 28th.
And the rest of them are at home. You know, I didn't realize that yesterday, except when Don Matthews was talking about it, that every team has that very, very busy schedule in August. But theirs were mostly on the road. 5 of the last 7 in Toronto. You can't ask for anything better than that. He said, we control our own destiny as to where we finish.
Is this intercepted by Berry?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
One official signal an interception. Berry hurt his arm.
Intended for Champion, but Berry with his 3rd interception as he and Champion collide on the sidelines with 5:18 remaining.
In Canada.
Hill feasted on Hamilton quarterbacks. Tonight it's Ed Berry.
Well, I think they got a thing for cornerbacks because Pleasant and Barry have done a great job tonight, and last week Rod Hill, what more can you say? But he had one of those, games of a lifetime, I guess, and he picked off 5.
Barry with his 3rd of the game. Ricky Foggy on the draw play, started inside, now goes to the outside. Was looking for a block from Andrew Murray. Murray blocked inside, Foggy went to the outside, and Floyd Salazar came up to make the tackle.
Well, Murray, Foggy was pointing. Murray was trying to figure out which one he was pointing at. He had about a choice of about 4 or 5. He said, I can only get one.
At the 19-yard line, it's 2nd and 4, Toronto, with 4:30 remaining in the game. 36-16 is the score in favor of the Argos. Paul Massotti was the target. That throw was high.
I'll tell you what, he showed a good arm strength running to his left. He put something on that one. The only problem, when Massotti was in the air, he has to reach back to catch it. That's hard to do when you're in the air to change your momentum. But he really let it go.
Well, we saw earlier that Lance Chomick is now the Argo all-time career scoring leader. Other team records he holds: a single season scoring mark, career field goals, converts, single game field goals, consecutive field goals, consecutive converts, single season converts, and single season field goals. And this field goal makes it a 39-16 game with 3:51 remaining.
It wasn't pretty, but it went through there. It was a line shot. Just got over the defensive line and went right through the uprights.
And despite all the team records that Lance Chomick may hold, the one play he may remember best was the fake field goal.
You know what you always want to do when somebody, a kicker or quarterback, catches a pass like, you want to be on the bus or in the locker room when you hear him describe it. I mean, it'll be amazing. Cameraman stopped it. I wondered why we put him back there. He's there to stop the footballs.
Part of the job. Andrzak running with the football. He'll be close to a first down. Robert Smith came racing over to get one hand out and prevented from going much beyond the 44.
But when going back to what with Chomick, when he described that, it'll be an ugly pass by the quarterback, and he had to make a tremendous jumping catch, and then watch his moves. I mean, he put 3 moves on the defensive back. That's what I always like to listen to that stuff.
2nd and less than a yard. Andrzak is going to throw deep. Intercepted by Chris Munford.
See, I know.
He took a big hit from Robert Smith just as he threw, and Munford makes the interception.
It's always satisfying to know that you fixed it.
We're having a great time!
I told you.
We're having a better time than they are! I don't know why they do this every game.
Damon Allen and the Ottawa Rough Riders are back for the rematch Friday, September 21st. For tickets, call 429-ESKS.
Buy a ticket. Don't miss out.
Come watch us play.
Buy another ticket.
I'm tired.
Well, it's been a big night for number 99, Mike Campbell. A pass reception for a touchdown. A couple of quarterback sacks.
2 mistakes.
Pressure on this throw. Picked off by Chris Munford.
Munford, I'll get it right. I've only called him Munford since I met him. That's 2 years ago. He's got a good memory. It's just short.
They fake the reverse. Foggy is going to throw deep. It's a jumping contest, and Massotti cannot come up with the ball. 2 defenders were back there, Dawson and Salazar.
Salazar and Dawson.
The two mistakes on this play. One, Terry doesn't have a chance. Andrusak doesn't have a chance to find that free safety. You can't throw the ball deep when the guy's in the hole. But the second one, you can't throw anywhere if you get pressure. And this Kerrigan has put up with this for about 4 games. Dillon's getting it. And now you see, it's very difficult to throw when you're flying through the air and landing on your back.
2:37 remains. 2nd and 10, Toronto. They fake that reverse again. This time Foggy rolls to his right. He'll run and get the first down.
When I saw him cut in when he turned the corner, you know, watch him when he's running. We're going to watch him run with a football, and he's got great speed. Good fake right here. But watch him cut inside. I could just visualize him getting him in a vice right here. Hit him low and hit him high and break him in half. And as a result, he stepped right through there like it was nothing.
Got a little help from Kevin Smelly out front throwing a block. 2:19 remains in the game. 1st and 10 from the 50-yard line. Foggy slips. Can't get back up.
Foggy, the ball carrier.
Greg Raynard makes sure he stays down.
Raynard making the tackle.
I'll tell you one thing. When we put those two young quarterbacks in there, Foggy and Andrusak, they like to run around, don't they? They try to make some things happen. But again, good blocking up front. Toronto, I'll tell you, Toronto's come to play tonight in that offensive line. They've given Dunnigan great time. They've opened holes when they've had to. Done a good job tonight.
But it looks as though the Argos have been having some fun out there tonight as well, while it's been a lot of work for the Ticats. A frustrating evening for Hamilton.
When you're losing, it is work.
Ramel Andrews gets Foggy. He still manages to get the pass away.
Foggy's pass incomplete.
And that will put the Argos in a punting situation with 1:43 remaining. The Ticats are at home in their next game to the BC Lions. The Toronto Argonauts are at home on Thursday to the Calgary Stampeders. The Stampeders helped the Argos last week, or last night I should say, by hanging on for that 18-17 victory over Winnipeg.
That's the Argonauts in Calgary Thursday at the Dome, right? Short week. Whoa, almost.
Winfield waits for it at the 15. Costello is after him. And so is Gaines. And Gaines manages to pull him down out of bounds with 1:29 left in the game. Well, this week's CFL schedule will conclude tomorrow afternoon in Regina with the Saskatchewan Roughriders entertaining the Ottawa Roughriders. And with this Hamilton loss, Ottawa can now break out of a tie with Hamilton for 3rd place in the East.
Well, it's tough to beat a team back-to-back, and they beat them last week, but that Ottawa club has been coming on.
And next week we'll be at Winnipeg Stadium as the Blue Bombers entertain the Saskatchewan Roughriders. They're looking for a big crowd at Winnipeg Stadium as the Bombers hope to avenge that 55-11 trouncing at Taylor Field on Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, we're out there last week for that Winnipeg-Hamilton game, and talking with Cal Murphy and them, they would like to see if they can put more people in their stands than Saskatchewan had for that Labor Day game. Saskatchewan had 31,700, I believe, and that's a heck of a crowd.
An all-time record crowd for Taylor Field in Regina. .106 is the time remaining. Next week, on Thursday, Calgary is at Toronto. On Friday, Ottawa at Edmonton.
I don't understand why McAdoo's still in the ball game. I mean, the guy gives you 100% when he's out there, and they're still running him into the line. You know, they need him next week again. You know, they got some more games to play. You got Ernie Schremeyer over there, would love to get into the game and play.
On Saturday, Hamilton is at home to BC, and next Sunday, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers entertain Saskatchewan, and that's the game we'll have for you on CBC television.
That'll be a good football game too, and That game last night hurt Winnipeg a little bit. You know, they allowed the Argonauts to creep a little bit closer to them in that first place, and it's not an easy task when Saskatchewan and Winnipeg get together. It'll be an exciting game.
Third down and about a foot, as revealed in the measurement.
Throw it. Now, see, the Argonauts sitting back. They're playing it safe. They're going to give you the first down. They're sitting back deep.
Well, it's going to be a pleasant trip on the bus down the QEW tonight as the Argos head back home with a victory over the Hamilton Tiger Cats to move within 2 points of first place in the Eastern Division. And I think there might be a lot of chatter on that bus trip about a couple of plays tonight, particularly that fake field goal.
Oh, that may go down in history. That was a great play. It was weird, but it was great.
Winfield makes the catch. Penalty flag on the play. A late hit by Chris Gaines.
And that's a good throw by Andrzejak. He let it go. Now, Gaines, what Gaines is mad about, he knows he's getting a penalty for a rough hit or a rough play or a late hit, whatever you want to call it. But what he's mad about is, now he didn't do anything, but when Winfield got up, he shot.
On Toronto number 38. First down.
He's got a point there. He's taking the penalty. He knows he's got that. But I don't think you can let people shove back and hit you. And he would go after him, and that's what they're going to get him out of the game, let him rest.
Pass complete to Derek McAdoo. He gets away from Munford and then is bounced out of bounds by Ed Berry. Feelings on both sides running very high with just 32 seconds remaining and a 39-16 Toronto lead.
Well, these two teams never did like one another. I mean, look at the score, 39-16, 32 seconds left, and look at the effort McAdoo is still giving you. I mean, he turned that thing upfield. He could have jogged out of bounds and not taken that hit, but he lowered the boom on Berry. Good collision. Berry bounces him out of bounds, and up he gets.
From the shotgun, Andrzejak to the sidelines to Winfield, and Winfield is bounced out of bounds, but not before he picks up another Hamilton first down. This has been a long-standing rivalry between the Ticats and the Argos.
It's always the emotions get involved in this. You know, you can't be 40 miles apart and not, you know, learn to hate the other guy a little bit, you know. You got to read about him in the paper every day, vice versa. No matter where you're at, you read about him, you hear about him, you run into him downtown. Build up some intense rivalries that way.
Again from the shotgun, but with the pressure coming from Carl Braisley, Andrzejak escapes, throws into the end zone. Incomplete. Nurse was being bumped by Munford in the end zone, and he protested mildly to the official, but there were no penalty flags.
It goes again back. Like I just was watching, Braisley came from the quarterback's blind side. And like we've talked about this for years. I still think it's easier for a quarterback to escape when the guy's coming to his back than it is he's coming at him from the front. I don't know why, but it just seems like they escape easier.
Second and 10. Here comes that pressure from the backside. It's dumped off. And McAdoo takes it out of bounds in the grasp of Braisley after a gain of only about 1.5 yards. So with 11 seconds left, it is 3rd and 8.
Pick out your best pattern. Throw it in the end zone. Let's go for the touchdown right here. Throw it in the end zone with 11 seconds. Try to score. Thing that you like to throw the best. Let's see what it is.
He's going to throw from the shotgun on 3rd down. It's incomplete. It was deflected. Winfield had a shot at it on the deflection. But with 7 seconds remaining, the Toronto Argonauts will take over on downs.
Still a lot of pressure. See, they're collapsing that pocket all around him. Oh, he's all right. Just roll over. I don't think he was expecting to play tonight at all. And, you know, and if he did, he was hoping it would be on the other side of a lopsided score. But you play when you get the chance.
Well, the Hamilton Ticats may have to introduce a few new wrinkles into their running game if they're going to be effective over the final 7 games of the season.
Yeah, you know, although tonight they did run the ball better in that first half than I've seen them run it. Well, last week against Winnipeg, they didn't run very well. So they might have to do something, but right now they got to figure out a way to win some football games because a 4-game slide, that's tough.
There are some teams that feel they might be just a little predictable.
Well, you know, that could be true because they don't have that much success. But tonight, I'll tell you, you got to give full marks to the Argonauts and that man, Don Matthews, had them ready. They came right into the home of the Ticats, and they go away with the 2 points.
Al Bruno heads off, contemplating the 4th straight loss that his club has suffered. They now have a record of 4-7, and the Toronto Argonauts, with their 39-16 win, improved to 6-5, and they are now within 2 points of first-place Winnipeg in the Eastern Division.
When it's time to play football, I exit the real world.
Rather primitive, isn't it?
In Ottawa, 67% of football fans tested preferred the taste of Diet 7-Up.
Boy, were we thirsty.
Over Diet Coke.
If someone tried to take my Diet 7-Up away from me, I'm afraid we'd have to discuss it.
Challenge your taste.
Toronto Argos working on a 3-game win streak now, the result of their 39-16 victory over the Hamilton Ticats at Iverwin Stadium tonight. The winning coach, Don Matthews, joins us on the sidelines. Don, your team looking a whole lot better now than it did at the start of the season. This is more of what you had in mind.
Yeah, it really is. I was especially pleased with our special teams work tonight. Mike Levenseller, our special teams coach, did a great job of preparing our guys. We got a blocked punt, we got a run back for a touchdown, and then we made a couple of key first downs on some fakes that allowed us to get 2 more touchdowns. So that was a big key for us tonight.
39 points by the offense speaks for itself. You can't ignore, though, the defense, allowing just 9 points through 3 quarters. You've got a pretty tough linebacking core going right now.
Yeah, we're really coming together as a defensive team. We've had some young people in the middle, Chris Gaines and Ford in the middle, and then Van Bellingham at safety, and they're starting to understand what we play like in this football league, and they certainly are getting better and better, and that's what we'd hoped for. The schedule turns around a little bit for us. We have 5 out of our last 7 games at home, and our rookies are growing up a little bit.
Did you feel the wind went out of the sails of the Ticats early in this game?
Well, I thought that our special teams play was really a key factor, and any time that you can do that, it's I think the other teams sometimes feel like they're getting a cheap one or giving up a cheap one, and when a team has lost a couple of games, sometimes it's pretty discouraging.
I want to ask you about the field goal fake. That worked to perfection. You told us about it yesterday, and the guys upstairs looked like geniuses when they saw the setup and saw how well it worked. You really did draw the Ticats into that one.
Well, it's just a case of using the rules that the Canadian Football League allows us to use. We can go in motion, and certainly it was well conceived and well executed by the football players, but it was critical. We needed, it had to be exactly in the right spot. It was in the right spot. It worked just like we'd hoped it would. It got us a first down, and then Matt put it in the end zone for us.
You know, talking about how badly you sucked the Ticats in on that play, I was standing on the sidelines, and Lance Shields said, would somebody go get him a tee? He's a defensive back for the Ticats.
Yeah, it's as I say, it's well conceived, and certainly it did catch them a little flat-footed, but that's something you can only use once, so we've sort of shot it that one time. I don't think we'll be able to use that one again.
Yeah, you won't be running that one again against anybody, and certainly not against the Hamilton Ticats. Don, I know you like the schedule now to finish the season. You really only have to play, what, about 2 more games on the road?
2 on the road. We play 1 in Winnipeg, and we play 1 in Regina, and out of the next 7, we have 5 of them at home, so we're just delighted with that schedule.
And now here you are in a fight for first place. It didn't look like you'd be there at the start of the season.
Yeah, we really felt that first place was our goal all along, and that's what we're trying to do. We're going to look ahead. Winnipeg is a good football team. They got off to a hot start, but we play them twice more, and certainly it's going to be a race that the fans are going to enjoy right down to the finish.
Don Matthews, congratulations. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.
Once again, the Argos defeat the Hamilton Ticats 39-16 at Ivor Stadium tonight. Stay with us. The CFL on CBC returns in just a moment. The Argos' 39-16 victory over the Hamilton Ticats. 3 touchdown passes, no interceptions through 3 quarters that you played, and I would think the way it went early in the season that throwing no interceptions feels almost as good as 3 touchdown passes.
Well, I think the key to our success over the last 3 weeks has been not turning the football over, and our great play by our defense and our special teams. And offensively, we've just been taking advantage of the situations that they've been putting us in.
Well, you struck early in this game. Here is your first touchdown pass of the game against the Ticats, and we'll let you describe it.
Well, that looks like a running play to me, Scott.
Yeah, did I say pass? I'm sorry. You passed to yourself. Okay.
That's basic. That's just a quarterback sneak, and offensive line did a heck of a job coming up.
This looks more like a pass here, Matt.
This is off a short yardage situation. They took our deep ball away from us, and this is an outlet, and Mike Campbell does the rest. We're not going to hear the end of this. Mike Campbell's had a big week. He's won our Spades championship card game in our locker room, and he scores a touchdown, had a quarterback sack, and had a great day on special teams. So we're not going to hear the end of that for a long time. But,
yeah, I saw Mike Campbell exulting on the sidelines. He won $160 in cards, as you said last night. Now that touchdown, big day for him.
We're not going to hear the end of it for a long, long time, but let him enjoy it. He deserves it. He made a great run after it, and he gave us an opportunity to put the ball in the end zone. I think that kind of sealed the fate tonight with that play there, because we went up 3 touchdowns.
You guys look loose and relaxed out there at Ivor Stadium, and it's hard to do in this place sometimes.
Well, Don Matthews is a very relaxed coach, and he lets us play in an atmosphere that isn't conducive to that type of play. So
that was the touchdown pass to Mike Clemens. That was important to you.
Well, they didn't go over with our wing formation. They brought the hurricane from the backside, and nobody covered Mike, and so it was a fairly simple play for us. I just had to get the ball in his numbers, and he did the rest.
Matt, your 3rd game back from the injury, and you're really rolling now.
Well, it's a good time for us to put things together. I think our defense and our special teams has definitely given us a help over the last 3 weeks, and like I said, our offense has just been able to capitalize on the opportunities they've been presenting us.
This offense really is a quarterback stream, because in it you get to throw the ball almost as much as you want, unlimited.
Well, Don gives us the free rein to do a lot of things out there, so it's exciting to play in. It's a lot of fun, and he's to be credited with the type of atmosphere that he allows the Argos to play under.
Now you've created a race for first place. That feels good.
It sure does. We've got our destiny in our own hands, and we just have to go out there and seize our opportunities. And tonight was just another step along the way. We're in a playoff mode now. Like I said, I can't say enough about our defense and our special teams. I feel like Ed Berry should be sitting here. Mike Campbell, they were certainly outstanding football players tonight and been doing a great job for us.
Well, they were strong, and so were you, Matt. Congratulations.
Thank you, Scott.
Don?
Well, the last time, Scott, that the Toronto Argonauts visited Hamilton, the Hamilton Ticats had success on special teams. Wally Zatilny had a 93-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. But tonight, as Don Matthews and Matt Dunnigan said, it was the special team play of the Argos that really made the difference.
In all phases. I mean, there's no part of their special teams that didn't come to the front tonight. When you think that Reggie Pleasant blocked the first punt, sets up a touchdown. Mike Clemens returns 190-some yards. The 3rd down team, Darrell Smith on a little trick play gets a first down. This sets up a touchdown. And then the trick and the fool on the fake field goal, another touchdown. This is an unbelievable play. As Don Matthews said, it's only good once. Took advantage of the rules. The players love gimmick plays. Now they're having a good time tonight. And, they're just as anxious as the coaches to see if it'll work. And all they did is they lulled them to sleep. Conjemi throws it out there. Now, it looks like a pretty routine play, and if you heard Dunnigan talk about what they're going to hear from Campbell, wait till Chomick describes this one. I mean, the players love these things, and they're going to hear about it for the rest of the season.
What a great job, though, Conjemi did in selling the fact that they didn't have the kicking tee and that Chomick was going off to get it.
It almost looked like the Hamilton players were saying, look at them dummies over there, But anyway, it worked, and you work on this, and now, as he said, it's only good one. Throw it out. And they'll come up with a new one because they always do.
But that certainly sets the stage now for a battle in the East. Winnipeg losing last night to Calgary. Toronto winning tonight. That home-and-home series, October 5th and 13th, is probably going to decide it.
We talked about it. Don Matthews talked about it. 5 of 7 games at home, a home-and-home with the first-place team. That's all you can ask.
A victory tonight for the Toronto Argonauts over the Hamilton Ticats. They're now 2 points out of first place. Scott?
All right, then, Don, this renewal of the Argo-Ticat rivalry goes to the Argos, and in very decisive fashion. They have won their third in a row, and for the third straight week, they have shot the lights out. They're now within 2 points of the first-place Bombers in the East Division. 1 week tomorrow, we are in Winnipeg, where the Bombers will try and extract revenge from the Saskatchewan Roughriders, who beat them 55-11 on Labor Day. The telecast of the rematch on the CFL on CBC at 2 Eastern. Next Saturday on Sports Weekend, join us for Indy kart racing, cycling from Japan, and international track and field from Athens. Thanks for watching tonight. Good night from Hamilton.